Get up to 40% off select HP printers.
Oh, great. My job can be...
Demanding?
I was going to say a lot of fun.
Right now at Staples, save up to 40% on select HP printers, America's most trusted printer brand. Ends 9/28.
Are you the decision maker in your company? Consider this. For the first time in decades, there's a better option for a corporate card and spend management platform. Meet Ramp, the only corporate card and spend management system designed to help you spend less money so you can make more. With Ramp, you get full visibility into your company's spending and control who spends what with each vendor. Ramp software collects and verifies receipts instantly to save your team valuable time. Ramp automates data entry and routine tasks with automated approvals, expense categorization and bill payments, time-consuming tasks, which means you'll stop wasteful spending and close your books in hours instead of days. Businesses that use Ramp add up to 5% to their bottom line the first year. If you're a decision maker, adding Ramp could be one of the best decisions you've ever made. Get $250 when you join Ramp for free. Just go to ramp.com/sports. Ramp.com/sports.
Crossover. Oh, killer crossover. Just crossover. It just crossed him over. Nastily.
Another victim to the crossovers. Cross him up and sit him down.
Hey, time for the crossover powered by Everlow Concrete Repair in Omaha at everlowconcrete.com. Hi, Northern Iowa Friday.
Northern Iowa Friday. Panthers.
Is that what we're calling them?
I hate the Panthers.
I can't get I almost said it. I can't get enraged at the Panthers because I actually think we should preserve them.
Yeah, well, they're going extinct, aren't they?
I believe so. They're pretty close. You don't really see a lot of Panthers around here.
Specific kind. Well, we do not want to see many Panthers around here. If we saw some Panthers around here, that would be no good. I would not like that. By the way, did you make Lee Sterling atone this morning for his sins?
Yes.
What did he say? What did he have to say about this?
He first said I had a really so he tried to ease into it because he's a diehard Dolphin fan. Mm. And he goes,
don't you feel bad for me?
He goes, guys, rough. And then I said, Lee,
atone.
28-10, and he goes, yeah, I sometimes you swing and miss. He goes, I was way off. And
yeah, you were, Lee. You were. Congratulations. You enraged everybody.
So he was like, yeah, last week was a bad week.
Better get him back. Get him back. You always got another game to bet on.
But he's got, you know what? Got all these free plays. You want USC at the Sphere? We got that for you.
If you're like me from last night, you're very happy telling everybody within earshot to not bet the Miami Dolphins.
Nobody would listen.
Nobody would listen. They would say, what? What's wrong with Miami? I'd say they looked horrible against Jacksonville. Please bet the Bills. And they should have. They didn't. But I profited. So that's fine.
Good. I missed on that because I did not take your advice, but I went the under. which at halftime I was like, ooh, this might be training the wrong. This might turn into a track meet.
But as we'll talk about in our worst segment ever on Monday, it didn't actually end up being good for me because Josh Allen didn't have to do anything in the game, so he didn't score that many points for me in fantasy.
Were you going against somebody that had James Cook?
I was not. I was not going against anybody that had anybody last night, which is good. So I got Josh Allen with just under 10 points. It's a very, very bad week for Josh Allen.
You guys by now have seen, and you'll probably talk about, the gentleman with the hit and run that ended up inside of Folsom Field.
Yes.
Have there been further discussion on actually how he got with the vehicle inside of the stadium? Now, I know back in the day, Connor, you know nothing about this. Josh can vibe with me. Mork and Mindy, their open was filmed inside of Folsom Field, and Mork, Robin Williams' character, is standing on the goalpost. They snuck into the stadium.
Really? They did that illegally?
Oh. I don't know how this guy got his vehicle inside of the stadium without anybody, either barriers to stop him.
He just drove through the gate, right?
A few years ago when I was out there during the summer, I walked around the stadium and it was pretty locked down. I mean, there was no getting in there.
I know. I wanted to walk into the stadium like this was in November on a non-game day because I was there for basketball and everything was locked up.
So apparently this guy just likes running into things. This is from Denver7.com.
Hi, Denver7.
The Boulder Police Department said it received a call at about 6:45 p.m. about several hit-and-run crashes involving the same pickup truck near Foothills Parkway and Arapahoe Avenue. Witnesses told police that a man driving a blue pickup truck was involved in at least 2 hit-and-run crashes. He had also struck several trees and signs before driving away. Witnesses reportedly told the driver to stop before he took off, allegedly striking another car and more trees. Boulder PD tried to stop the driver, but he eluded officers. And minutes later, he was spotted near Colorado and 28th Street. Officers with the CU Boulder Police Department tried to stop the truck on Stadium Drive, but the driver again eluded officers before ramming a gate and driving onto Folsom Field, according to Boulder PD. He got out of his truck and surrendered after some negotiation. So,
like season tickets?
There you go. There you go. That answers your question. He just bashed through the gate. No big deal. It's a good lesson for the future. If you need to bust in there, just use a truck.
I mean, talk about timing for Colorado. They're already the brunt of jokes all week long, and then this happens.
Yeah,
right.
It's great. It's great. I think they're going to lose, by the way, tomorrow.
See, they've been quiet. Colorado State's talk trash.
I think one of the things that will happen is
Shedeur will throw it 70 times.
One of the things that will start to happen now is Nebraska will become one of the teams where after you play them, it hurts for a week.
Is this going to be like the Navy when you play Army or Navy?
Yeah.
Like the next week?
Yeah. Or like what formerly known as Wisconsin. You play Wisconsin really twice. You play them the week that you play them and you play them the week after. I think Nebraska probably can become one of those teams. So we'll see how they're
back.
There were some, broken limbs in that game. Some injuries, some people walking off the field.
That is true. Like back in the day, after you played Nebraska, the opposing coach at his Monday or Tuesday presser, when he goes to the injury report, is like out.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Dion did. I mean, Nebraska put like 3 of their guys out for a while, including his son.
Yeah.
They rolled his ass.
Yeah. Got rolled. Sorry. By the way, just back to this truck. Carl E. Hagland of Massachusetts was arrested for several charges, including criminal attempt, vehicular assault, reckless endangerment, vehicular eluding, 3 counts of leaving the scene of a crash after damage, failure to obey traffic control device. Wow, we got him for running the stoplight, huh? Driving without insurance, criminal mischief of $100,000 to $150,000, obstruction of a peace officer, and trespassing. That's a pretty good rap sheet there.
Will he still be behind bars in Boulder by the time Nebraska and Colorado play again?
I don't think so. No. I think that'll be a short-term sentence.
Not to judge or anything, but maybe some of this is adding up why he was shirtless.
Was he shirtless? I saw the picture. I couldn't decide whether he was shirtless or not. It looked like he was just wearing a kind of a flesh-colored shirt. Like I'm looking at it right now. I think he's got something on.
Okay.
Yeah. He's clearly like I said, he clearly just likes running into stuff. So I don't know, he's deranged in some way, shape, or form.
What if he's just a bad driver?
That's probably his plea in court.
I don't know.
Look, man, this guy just shouldn't be on the road. All right.
This picture, it looks like he might be shirtless.
I
The other two, I agree with you, Connor. It looks like he's got something on, but
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know why we'd wear that color of shirt. It doesn't really work for him.
Totally
Do you think he was a Notre Dame fan?
Yeah.
By the surrender with the arms of touchdown Jesus?
Maybe he was trying to impersonate Coach Prime. You know, my arms have been on the cross. That was a low-key part of this week. Deion compared himself to Jesus just 3 days after losing to Nebraska in embarrassing fashion.
Many have, but most of them are, winless.
John emails in.
Hi, John.
That pickup may be Colorado's leading rusher for the year. Yeah, he got all the way out to the 40?
Well, do you think they will attack this with some humor, and that will be a fan engagement thing on the video board next week? Ralphie against the pickup truck?
That's pretty funny. Like the hype video before is a truck just bursting through the gates and a shirtless man getting out and surrendering to the police.
I was thinking about both of you, as
you.
I do many times for content for the crossover. What would you think is like one of the first things that comes to your mind of life's simplest pleasures?
Oh, wow.
That can be obtained in a strip mall.
Oh, okay. That narrows it down.
Okay.
Sub
sandwich.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I think you start like, you want to have some good weather, right? If you're walking around from store to store. But what do we need inside of the strip mall? Looking at sunglasses, but not buying them. I really like doing that.
Because I've thought about this all
pleasure,
morning,
though.
and this is where I'm going. Because I think they are open at 10. One of life's simplest pleasures is the Chinese restaurant in a strip mall.
Oh, okay.
And I will be on Leavenworth, so get out the way at 3 Happy.
You're going to threes?
Yes.
Nice.
Good call.
They have they put in a dragon walk at the Nebraska Crossing outlets. It took over the Voodoo Taco.
Oh,
really? Yeah. Or maybe. Don't quote me on that. But I think that's where it is. Yeah. It's a dragon walk now. So you can walk around with your little Chinese container and then, get some shirts at Adidas.
I think the strip mall Chinese restaurant is better than the standalone.
It's possible. It's generally true that the worst place that the Chinese restaurant is in, the probably better off it's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I do when I need to waste time before I go downtown to work whatever event.
I know where you're going.
I always go to Rice Bowl.
Yep.
I always go to Rice Bowl.
That's a winner.
Yeah, it is. It's a great spot. And it's usually about 3:30 in the afternoon and nobody's in there. And they're like, here, let me pile on some extra rice.
Is that kind of like
yeah.
That one time where you've had a lot of stress in your life and there's the comfort of being in a bar, just having a beer by yourself.
Yes.
And there's hardly anybody in there.
Just kind of silence.
Yes.
Yeah, that is a good one. That's a really good one. You hope you hope that that's the case like at the airport. You could find that nice quiet spot. Just grab your stuff. Maybe you're eating a meal, maybe you're drinking a beer, whatever it is. Just find your little corner, sit back, and just start scrolling on your phone or looking out the window at the planes. Love doing that too.
Watching the world go by.
Hockey Dad says you are correct. It was Voodoo, and that Chinese dragon walk is delish. 3 exclamation points. Dragon walk out in my area.
Yeah, I'm familiar with them.
I prefer Golden Palace.
Same.
The because COVID didn't kill all the Chinese buffets.
No.
The one at like 114th and Dodge still open?
Oh, yeah. Can't kill that.
Too big to fail.
Yeah.
It is
that
gigantic in there.
Yeah.
Gigantic. Yes. Huge. No, I don't think you could kill that place. I haven't been since.
You just
it's been a while.
Afraid?
I don't know. I told you guys this story before, but every time my grandpa's in town, we have to take him over to the Chinese buffet because he wants to eat the crab legs.
Mm-hmm.
He loves the crab legs from the Chinese buffet.
You can't take him over to the casino?
I don't know. He goes, let's go to China buffet and get crab legs. We're like, okay. We're not going to stop the man from getting his crab legs. He also likes Charlie's on the Lake, I think. It's a good spot.
Yeah.
It is a good spot.
He's got his things that he likes.
I think I went there for a homecoming once.
Nice. Were you on the lake?
We were
Sitting out back?
We were not outside. We were inside.
Okay. So you weren't on the lake.
Right.
You weren't on the lake. Star Wars Fiend says Golden Apple Buffet in Papillion. I never heard of such
Okay,
a thing.
so I see it advertised a lot. It's like it's 72nd in Giles.
We're not familiar with your game.
Okay.
It's just I don't know much about I
don't go out that way much.
Is it in the realm of the Golden Corral? A mix between Pizza Ranch, Golden Corral, Old Country Buffet?
I don't know.
But I do see it advertised. I've never been there. I don't know anybody that's gone there.
Have you seen, speaking of things out that way, so I don't know which way you take to get to Warner Park, but right over by that Costco, there's a new billboard. Have you seen it?
No.
So remember how in that there's a little empty spot there, pretty much right just south of that Costco in Papillion or La Vista or whatever it is. And it said, we're going to build a car wash here. We're going to build a Rocket car wash.
Yeah.
It said that for years. And yet there was no Rocket car wash. Now there is two shipping containers. And on the front of it, there is a gigantic sign that says free AR-15.
Oh, yes, I've seen this.
You could get a free AR-15 from, I think it's like Tactical 88 or whatever. And I'm sure in small print it says with purchase of whatever.
Yeah.
Free AR-15. How about that?
That's a choice.
That is.
So is their name and logo. If you know, you know.
Free AR-15.
Steve said, I said, Giles, 72nd and Cornhusker.
72nd and Cornhusker. Gotcha.
There's like a Chipotle over there. How come this has not been a news story?
The free AR-15?
Yeah.
Actually,
in this town?
Are we sure it hasn't?
Well, I mean, if you want to get like super technical, you're buying the membership. It is a gift that comes with the membership. That is perfectly well within their rights.
I don't see any news stories about this.
Hey, Dave, if you're listening, why don't you give a hot tip to the newsroom when you get there?
Mike McKnight will be on it. He'll be out there with the billboard in the background.
Black Cat writes in.
Hi, Black Cat.
Can't confirm Grand China Buffet is still open. Staring out the window at it right now. Cops seem to be there almost daily. No idea why.
No,
I mean,
that's a spy report.
You know, you go back 4 years ago.
Don't text and drive, Black Cat.
You know, we go back 4 years when COVID was going on, and there were a lot of things that you thought about. One, your personal safety. I mean, who did not, for one instant, think, my God, the sneeze guard is not going to save the buffets. We're going to lose the buffets.
I used to go to Hoo Hot a lot when I was in high school.
Yeah.
We would go to Hoo Hot a lot. And we would take advantage of back the early days of Buffalo Wild Wings when they would have like unlimited wings. I don't know what kind of deal they do on that anymore, but wings are expensive now.
Very.
But we would go there and we would eat 40 wings a piece, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then we would go to Hoo Hot and get several plates of Hoo Hot.
I can only do one plate now.
I know.
It's not
a
good value play, but I love it.
It's different.
Smart where they have it in Omaha on 72nd and Pacific because they have a small parking lot and it's a relatively busy place. So it's like packed in the parking lot. And so people are like, well, a popular place. I can only do one. Only one trip.
Yeah, I haven't been there in many. I don't even know if I could eat more than one plate of Hoo Hot now.
So there's a place
or exactly one plate.
There's a place on the campus of UCLA that is along those lines in Westwood. And the whole thing is you stack your own. But if you get to checkout and it falls over, you pay a certain price.
Oh, that's
and
a good
all
bet.
you get is what is left in the bowl. Like it's geared towards college kids who are trying to, mess with the system.
Definitely, because we definitely got to the point where we would have two bowls to put all the stuff in. Like you put the meat in one bowl and the noodles and everything else in the other bowl, and then they would just slam it together for you, which I'm sure they still do.
I was behind a college kid who has clearly done this before. He was like, he had a strategy. like where the meat went, where the vegetables went, where the noodles went.
Yeah.
And
so
so
you got
that
to put the
everything was
sauce
built
on
up.
the meat,
Yes.
you know?
Yeah.
And the noodles, you got to get the right kind of noodles, the yakisoba noodles,
That's
obviously.
right. Good call.
Not the Chinese noodles, the yakisoba noodles.
You sound like a pro.
I went to Huat a lot. I got to
You're a
admit
man that's been there many times.
I have.
Do you have the punch card?
I did at one point. Yeah. I definitely did at one point. I always get the punch cards. I never fill out the punch cards. And then I don't have a place to put it. And I don't want to be like, here's my paper punch card that's all crumbled up in my wallet. I never use the punch cards.
I love the idea of it, though.
I do too.
But I think the punch cards.
Eat 12 plates, get one free.
I think it's getting less.
Yeah, I think we're going to the rewards point system now.
I mean, Debbie at the Hy-Vee gas station used to be really promoting the punch card if you got like a coffee. Now, nada.
Jimmy John's.
What happened to the mug club?
I can't figure out Jimmy John's reward point system. I can't figure it out.
Totally random.
It is. It is. Because I go there a lot. I eat a lot of Jimmy John's sandwiches. And I don't know how often. You never know. They're like, oh, you have a free chips. And I'm like,
Here, have a cookie.
I guess what happens if I don't use this? Can I build it up to be no, the chips go away after a certain point in time. It's very confusing. I'd like a little bit more clarity on the Jimmy John's.
Oh, you got the
system.
barbecue chips today. That means you get the barbecue badge.
Yeah.
And
free cookie.
What does that mean?
Yeah. Also free cookie, free brownie.
I'm the same with the Target Circle Club.
I just need some transparency on that.
Yeah.
Hey,
that's
the Target Circle Club, money.
Yeah. That's what my wife says.
They're like Mariano Rivera coming out of the bullpen on those days when you have a huge order and all of a sudden you put in your phone number and it's like, you got $23 here to take off this. Hell yes. I'm Mr. Hy-Vee Gas. You get 10 cents off the gas. You want to use it now?
Yeah,
yes,
absolutely. Every time. You know, we've talked about this on this crossover plenty of times before, but I'm a big, let's go to the grocery store guy and buy our own groceries. But ever since this kid popped up, we have really used the drive up, the park in the spot. Here I am. Come bring it to me. Yeah, that's really changed things for us.
Hey, will I see you tomorrow night? Will you be upstairs?
I will be.
Nice.
I don't have to do big red overreaction. I know people are shocked. They'll say, I thought Happer did this show all the time, every game.
Now they'll be saying John Bishop does it all the time.
Yep. We're in a good John Bishop chunk right now.
Before he departed, when you guys were up there last week, I was like, who has next week? And he goes, you're looking at him. But so
poor guy.
So I'm thinking about doing a side bet on how long it's going to go. But Jimmy Allen, who has not done one, would like to go for a while. And Bishop will lose his mind.
There's going to be a weird push and pull there.
So this is the Northern Iowa game. There'll be nothing notable from it. People will be calling it about how high or low the snaps are on extra points. And John will be like, let's go home. And Jim will be like, I got takes.
Yeah, because the NFL has also bloated the sports schedule. It does not allow as much after hours. So Jimmy might feel a little boxed in. And
we got to let Jimmy cook.
Yeah.
Can we talk about Tua, John?
John just, he might have to just eat this one. I don't know.
John will be out on his back deck and you'll be able to hear the birds chirping. And it'll get later and later, and he'll be miserable.
To pull the curtain back a little bit, Jimmy did offer to do the show by himself, and I went.
John's martyr, though.
What if something happens?
Yeah.
I'd need someone else there with you. So, John, after the 2-hour mark, you can just close your laptop and go inside.
So next week we'll have we'll do the same thing we did last week, where it'll be we'll have a pregame from the Blur and then a postgame from the Bottoms again, right? Same deal.
I don't know if that's been officially announced, but
I believe that is true.
It is
breaking news.
Josh and John, and I'll be around. I don't know if
I'll be a floater.
Well, we'll see. I'll get them some audio if they need it. You and Schreiner have Purdue from Whiskey Town, Whiskey Fest.
Yes,
that's good. Then me and Josh Peterson from the Rutgers game.
That's right.
Gary and Austin. Look at
for
that.
Indiana.
Gary. That'll be good. Okay.
And, Nick and I for Ohio State.
No, John.
There's because the Purdue exhibition game. Yeah,
it changed.
So Nick and I for Ohio State.
Well, I have been thinking about this for a while. Nebraska needs to be undefeated, going to Ohio State. So that game is big noon. That way we can all have our days. We could have a J-Sker day. We don't need to have those games at the same time. Even though it's an exhibition, we just don't need to have those games at the same time. That's my official opinion. And then John and Josh against UCLA. And then Nick and Gary at USC. Where are you for that? For USC?
I'll be in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Well, for what?
Basketball.
UNLV's going to Vegas this year?
Yeah.
For what?
They play UNLV.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, I was going to say, they make the mega NIL tournament? No. Wisconsin, me and Josh. Iowa, me and Nick. Front loaded and back loaded, Josh. That's okay.
So USC will, depending on what happens, that game, that will be an interesting start time on who picks that up.
Yeah. If they're good, if they're both good the way they are right now, it's not going to be your 10 o'clock.
Hey,
it'll be the 7.
One quick thing on the Purdue game. So the Purdue game is sold out. It's their homecoming.
Or everybody's homecoming.
It's Indiana, Ohio State as well.
Yeah, it's like 4 homecomings.
So they're all locked in on the start times, but the network hasn't been announced. It may have been by mistake that it's Peacock, and then they changed it. But I heard today that it's still open depending on what happens this weekend and next weekend.
They'll give it a 2-week window.
But I think Nebraska Purdue is going to be Peacock.
Yeah.
But what happens if Notre Dame or Purdue beats Notre Dame, beats Virginia Tech, and they're unbeaten with Nebraska? Could that be big noon kickoff?
Oh my God.
Nebraska Purdue big noon.
Nebraska by then might have slipped inside of the top 20.
Do we have a start
Purdue
time?
may be ranked.
Do we have a start time for Rutgers yet?
That's like a variety of times that were available. I think that was given
12, 3:30, or 4 Eastern.
So that could be big noon too, theoretically. I don't know what the schedule looks like for that week. I could find it real quick. But Nebraska could potentially be playing 3 straight big noon games. Or 11 a.m.
Well, okay. So ESPN couldn't carry the game, but they could still be in Lincoln. The way that McAfee has dropped his West Virginia allegiance for Nebraska.
Yeah.
Do you think McAfee has a say on where game day could go?
I don't know. For which game?
Moving forward.
I mean, I'm sure he voices his opinion, but I'm sure the network is like, yeah, we're not going to a Big Ten game. Like,
but last week they were at Ann Arbor. So it was Texas, Michigan.
Yeah,
I get it, but
for Rutgers week in the Big Ten, gosh, it could be. So you got Nebraska, Rutgers. You got Iowa, Ohio State.
Well,
you got UCLA, Penn State at Penn State. That smells a little big noony. USC, Minnesota, Michigan, Washington, but it's on the West Coast, so that's got to be a night game. Northwestern, Indiana, and Purdue, Wisconsin.
Has Nebraska ever played a 3 p.m. kickoff in the regular season before?
Ooh.
I gotta imagine that's
yeah.
A 3 o'clock?
Yeah, they've done that's the start time for FS1, I think, isn't it? Like they bump it. They try to stagger those times out a little bit. I'm almost sure. Yeah, you're saying 2:30. You're saying 3 instead of 2:30. Yeah.
I just wonder also why tomorrow night is a night game. Would have been a nice 2:30 game.
I know. No, 11. That would have been great if it was 11. Then I could have got home and
hey, let's give BTN a little bone here.
Why?
It's fine.
Why? Why do you care about BTN so much?
They make such fine programming, like Campus Eats.
Yeah, the Nebraska volleyball documentaries. Things of that
they're going to
nature.
do behind the scenes on how the Maps commercial was made.
Yeah,
and then adjusted.
Do you remember the 9/11 documentary?
Yes.
I did air the other day.
Remember the tunnel walk?
So big noon tomorrow is Alabama, Wisconsin.
Why did your voice drop so much?
Somber tone.
You went with the anchor voice. Like all of a sudden you dropped it and slowed down.
Remember the tunnel walk?
The big 2:30 tomorrow is Oregon State.
You can also hear Oregon State right here on 1620 The Zone.
We're carrying the Civil War.
We are.
Look at that. We are a real radio station.
Yeah, sure. This is going to rule the night. Like, this is obvious. The other night games in the Big Ten tomorrow are UCLA, Indiana on Big Ten Saturday night.
Hey, that's a sneaky game.
Yeah, it is. Northwestern, Eastern Illinois, and Virginia, Maryland. Will Nebraska, Northern Iowa
Do ratings?
Yeah.
Yes.
More so than UCLA, Indiana on Big Ten Saturday night?
Seems unlikely.
Cable versus network.
So
Deep cable.
So let's
deep cable.
Let's think.
It's Nebraska, Northern
Like
Iowa, deep cable.
The baseline for Big Ten Saturday night, they're probably at 1.5 mil, right? That's where you just start at. And then depending on the brand, the quality of game, it goes up. And the next thing you know, you got 6 million.
Yeah. So what are we thinking? Like 2?
Maybe. I bet Nebraska, Northern Iowa does 900,000.
Yeah. Yeah. So probably doesn't catch it, but
I mean, that would not be a good look if IU, UCLA,
that would be horrible.
Like doesn't do 2. Like they get the randos that got confused. They thought it was basketball season.
Yeah, they're like, wow, this is a great game. What are they doing? Football?
Hey, Big Ten Network. Put everybody's game on Big and 60. Okay. Just doing like 4 games a week. It's a big conference. I know.
This is important for Josh.
It is.
He watches all the Big and 60s.
Do.
Are you a condensed watcher? Like MLB puts up the 20 minutes of every game.
Not really.
Okay. MLB's is really cool because almost every pitch is shown.
They do it in like 16 to 20 minutes.
Yeah.
It's nice if you miss your baseball game, which many people do miss their baseball games. They do. All right.
Enjoy. We'll see you tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Good luck against Dodge City.
Thank you. They're not great, it seems.
All right. You know what?
Well, Josh.
So you finally get, like, after 2 difficult games to begin the year?
Yeah. I was going to say.
You guys are going to have some filler material.
You taking teams for granted now, Josh?
Well, no, you never do. You never know what the conquistadors are going to give you. But
That's right.
the conks.
Is that what you call them on radio?
Yeah. The conquistadors is such a long word.
It's
Okay.
too long.
So many syllables.
Just looking, by the way, to prepare yourself for some comedy tomorrow morning with ESPN's Game Day being in Columbia.
Oof.
Have you seen some of the signs that are showing up that have the mascot of South Carolina and Livy Dunn?
Oh,
I haven't.
That is going to happen.
But it makes
isn't
a lot of sense.
Yeah, the person that puts the signs on camera probably going to have to be quick with the trigger tomorrow.
Give me South Carolina in that game.
Whoa. Hello.
Okay. Let's do it. I don't think it's a game we're picking today, is it? I think I took it out. Nope, it is. Sorry.
Spoiler.
Yep. Give me.
You'll never be on unsportsmanlike conduct just giving out your picks.
Oh, yikes. I don't think that will make it in. I don't think that will make it into the Home Depot game day. That sign.
Oh,
that's what I should say.
Okay.
All right. Have a good afternoon.
You
See
too.
you tomorrow at
Yes.
Memorial Stadium.
All right. Have fun.
I will. Thank you. That is the crossover powered by Every Level Concrete Repair in Omaha at everylevelconcrete.com. It's Friday. We'll start things off next.
It's the Connor Happer Show. Are we sure we want to do this?
Could you, make an announcement that we're ready?
It's the Connor Happer Show on 1620, The Zone.
All right, good morning. Welcome in. Happy Friday. It is the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. Connor Happer, Josh Hodson with you. It's Football Friday, right? What they'll do tomorrow at Memorial Stadium is football. It's a night game.
Yeah.
You only get 12 of these. You only get, 6 at home or 7 at home this year. So enjoy it, right? Even if it's less intense than you certainly are used to from last week. Or maybe some of that intensity just trickles into this week. It's night game at Memorial Stadium. Third quarter light show is going to be awesome.
Stay for the light show.
And you can affect real change, Nebraska fans. You can that light show will stick with them all the way in Northern Iowa's trip out to the Pacific Islands.
Big one against Hawaii next week for UNI.
Watch out.
Andy says, I'm in the boat that UNI is looking past this game. Their next game is at Hawaii. They're looking at cabanas and planning their snorkeling trips.
Yep.
Their heads aren't in the game for this.
Nope. Exactly. I think you're right. They will not come to play tomorrow. They're looking past Nebraska.
Will they score?
I would say that's bulletin board material. Look at these guys. All they care about is their vacation. Show them vacation is not coming.
They're like the Philadelphia 76ers.
Wonder if Matt Rule busts out a "end their season" and then shake their hands and tell them they had a good game and good luck.
You send them to Hawaii.
Send them to Hawaii. Make them enjoy their trip, except for in a cast. I was going to say body bag, but that seems too harsh. All right, welcome to the show. Bryan Munson will join today. Coming up in about 20 minutes. We'll get a recap of last weekend movement. Obviously, Nebraska got a big commit this week locally. So we'll talk to Munson coming up here in just a few minutes. Bryan Christopherson will join at 11:30. Steven M Sipple will join us in the noon hour. Keys and Peas. And at some point today, at an undetermined time, you'll just have to be listening to find out, we will be giving away 4 passes to the Blur tailgate. Remember last week when we did 1620 the pregame, and we were like, oh my God, this is awesome.
It sounded so busy.
It was so busy. There was so many people there. Too many Buffs fans for the record. But there was a lot of people there. And it's a great time. They put on a great party. And we want to get you in. We want you to experience what we experienced last week. So we got 4 of them. 1 winner, 4 passes. That's how we're going to do it, right, Josh? We could have done 2 and 2, but let's do 4 all for 1. Let's bring the family.
Yeah.
There's there's a lunch buffet in there. Mm-hmm. There is
they got bags, they got
there is
TVs.
I kid you not, there is literally a hot tub in there.
Oh, really?
Yes. Now, I don't know why you would do that, but it's there.
Now that's interesting because they do the Blur tailgate down at the CWS.
Yes.
And I've been to that one.
There's
not been
no
to
hot tub in that one?
No hot tub there.
Okay.
Some might say the atmosphere is your hot tub during the College World Series.
I would not want to go in a hot tub during the College World Series. Be the last. They should put a cold tub in. They should put an ice bath in there next year. Consider that.
I'd take a dip. I have many hours to kill in between games quite often.
Although they do have the fans with the spritzers. And you might need that on Saturday night or Saturday afternoon. So we want you in there and we want you to have a good time. So coming up in the show today, we'll give away 4 passes. You'll just have to be the right caller and answer some Nebraska football related trivia. Just one question. If we go on to the next person, then we will bring out a new question. Okay. We didn't have time to get as creative as the need to get to 6 game, which I do very much enjoy. But
good bit.
We will have that during the show today. That's the lineup. Powered by the Referees at John Higgins Weather Guard. Want to hear from you guys. 402-951-1620 on the 42 Degrees of Source hotline. Call or text that number. Tweet at Happer Show, at Connor Happer on the JTech Construction Zone Twitter feed. Email Connor or Josh O at 1620thezone.com on the Equitable Bank Zone inbox. We say good morning to our YouTube streamers today. What up? Fire emojis in the chat. Send some stuff in the chat. Get the chat popping. Alex said, hi, Connor, when I was peeking my head around the graphic in the break there. Hop in the chat. It's a great community in the chat.
It is.
The chat is like our hot tub.
It's pretty friendly.
It
versus
is.
a lot of YouTube chats.
Yeah, it's our hot tub in a very non-creepy way.
Right.
Normal hot tub on a cool December evening. Cold.
Join us, won't you?
Yeah, in this hot tub. So yeah, join our hot tub. It's zonetv.live or YouTube/1620 The Zone TV. Have a seat in a non-creepy way, Charles says. Thank you for the fire emojis in the chat, by the way. I appreciate that. All right, so we are off and running, and like I said, we'll have our keys and P's a little bit later on in the show. Elsewhere in sporting news today.
Oh, remember the sporting news?
I think it's still around, right? They got to be doing TikToks or something. They be doing. Did they pivot to video?
Oh no, still a thing. Still a thing.
Sporting news is good. People work there. Matt Rule. Matt Rule. He says you media people are making too much of something.
Typical media.
We will unpack the evidence coming up in just a little bit here. Like I said, we'll have that trivia for the blur passes. A drone flies through the Osborne Legacy Complex. Matt Rule's out and about in the community doing very Matt Rule things at Central versus North football game.
Could Matt Rule play quarterback for Nebraska?
He says, I'm Dylan Raiola. What if he would have said, I'm Dylon? Then turned back around, peace signed the camera, and said, I'm out. We already covered the car chase in Boulder, Colorado, so maybe we don't need to get that. We'll talk about the weekend ahead. The Dolphins. Ouch. It was very funny.
Ooh.
It was very funny for a long time until it got sad last night. People were just dunking and dunking and dunking on tiny baby Tua, noodle arm Tua, scramble brain Tua. And then, unfortunately, we had the thing again. It happened.
It happened.
And it happened involving Damar Hamlin.
Damar Hamlin's chest
and
hit Tua's head.
And the two most fragile things in sports hit each other.
Collide.
And it resulted in another unfortunate situation for Mr. Tagovailoa.
We relearned the term fencing posture.
I know. I don't like that.
No.
I don't like that at all. I thought he learned jujitsu or whatever. I thought he was okay.
He
does not know how to slide.
Like a lot of us, I was yelling, go down.
Go down.
Gotta go down. Gotta go down.
You're not going anywhere. Just get down.
And then the hand thing happened, and I said to myself, oh my gosh, that's right. I had forgotten his brain.
I don't like it.
Nope.
So we could talk about that today.
They're gonna make him wear the Guardian cap, right?
I don't know. He's got to probably take some real time off here.
Yeah.
I mean, he missed the end of the season a couple years ago because he had the back-to-backs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't. I just now it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. You're like, all right, is he going to be okay?
Matter of
time. Can he actually do this anymore?
Mm-hmm.
I'm definitely concerned. John Fanta.
John.
Predictably spent last night wrecking UConn fans as they commented on his Big East scheduled Twitter spaces. The UConn fans are very angry because they only got 4 weekend home games or something like that this year. They were angry about it. And so they had to tell John Fanta about it. John Fanta said, please shut up now.
They're a fan base that is
the worst.
Entirely too much online.
The worst. I'm telling you, if you follow John Fanta on Twitter and you have come to realize that he's in a Twitter Spaces, he's doing a Twitter Spaces, go in there. Do it. You'll be entertained. On like a Big East Tuesday night, midnight or whatever, you're not doing anything, you're getting ready to go to bed, you put the kids down, it's like it's me time now.
Big East Tuesday night.
Josh has Josh time. Hop into that John Fanta Twitter space and see what happens in there. It's absolutely absurd. It's just UConn fans asking about very dumb things.
Where's the love? Where's the love, Fanta?
One of them asked about hey, he basically said the Big East would be nothing without UConn. What would happen in the Big East if UConn left? And Fanta was like, well, Villanova won 2 national championships before UConn got here. UConn was losing, what would happen to UConn too? UConn was losing recruiting battles to Big East schools when they were the American, and they still don't win every recruiting battle. They love to act they love to act like they're the best. And yes, they have won back-to-back national championships, and that is impressive. It's very good. But the Big East would be just fine. At least that's the narrative coming out of the conference. And a tough look for the professional baseball player in the Detroit Tigers organization who was telling the other team the pitches that were about to come as the catcher. Newly drafted Derek Bender out of Coastal Carolina. Does that mean he played at Creighton this past year? He was tipping pitches.
Is that why Creighton won those games?
He was telling other minor leaguers what pitch was coming because he wanted to get the season over with. Tough look for that guy. That's our tough look of the day. Brought to you by Could Be You.
Could be you. Maybe you're an ophthalmologist.
Good one.
What's the Kugler Vision?
Kugler Vision, of course.
Tough look of the day. Brought to you by Kugler Vision.
If you need help seeing the tough look, Kugler Vision's got you. That's how it would sound.
There you go.
There's your demo reel right there. All right, we're back after this. Bryan Munson will join us at the top of the hour. Plenty to get to on a Friday. We'd be happy if you joined us along in this ride. All the way to 2 o'clock on 1620 The Zone.
Let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Star Wars Fiend writes in.
Hi, SWF.
He previews tomorrow's Big Red Overreaction with John Bishop and Jimmy Allen.
Immediately after the game on 101.9 The Keg.
Yeah, by the way,
1620 The Zone.
Should we do a quick, before we get to Star Wars Fiend's prediction here, should we get to a quick what time that will start?
I had to schedule a tweet to promote that show. And I had to figure out, okay, what time do I want to push this out to the people?
Where'd you end up? I mean, you could do it before, obviously.
I went a little before I think the game is going to end. I scheduled it for 9:00.
Oh, I mean that they'll still be playing at 9:00.
Oh, definitely.
They're not gonna have a 2.5 hour football game, but like, it'll be quick. We started last week with all the penalties and the whatever at, I believe it was 10:10.
Okay.
Bigger TV network, right? All the stuff that went into it. So I think if we can get it started, get it rocking by 9:45 tomorrow night, I think that's a good number. That's a good place to put it. Over under 9:45, Josh. Or before or after, I guess is the game.
Like a hair after.
Okay.
Just a hair. Like not
I think there's going to be a lot of clock running.
Yeah.
Running the ball, playing some defense, getting out of there. So here's Star Wars Fiend's prediction. Tomorrow night, Big Red Overreaction could turn into conspiracy-laced Jimmy and John talking about UConn's 4 home weekend games and why that is. It's John screaming at the fans, yeah, this is UConn basketball. No one cares how low the snap was. Yeah, I don't know. They'll stay on topic tomorrow, right? They'll stay on topic.
The more on topic you stay, the sooner you can be done.
By the way, speaking of Creighton basketball, they're on commit watch in just a little while here with a guy by the name of Hudson. All the kids are named Hudson these days, Josh. Hudson Greer.
What's he do?
He plays basketball.
I've gathered that.
In the class of 2025. And he is considering Kansas and Alabama. Both of Creighton's, 2 of Creighton's opponents this year. He's down to 3. He'll be making his decision on the On 3 Recruits YouTube channel at 11:30. And I have a sense that it might be Creighton.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
What's
he's a guard and he shoots, which makes him a shooting guard. He's the number 35 overall recruit in the cycle.
Let it fly.
Let it fly. Let it fly.
They don't let you let it fly at Kansas. Alabama, they've never even heard of flying.
They score a lot of points at Alabama.
Shh.
Yeah. If you want to play offense, Alabama's probably a pretty good place for you. Actually.
Connor!
Go to Alabama. Come on, kid. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I think Creighton's got a shot here coming up in a half hour. There's your one Creighton recruiting story that we'll ever talk about. Matt, speaking of recruiting, Matt Rule. Matt Rule's so good at this, man. I know this is probably like a side topic every day on this show. He shows up last night to Central North football game, and obviously he's got his eye on several local talented prospects, both in the 2025 class, 2026 class, maybe the 2027 class. I mean, there's talent.
There was that one kid who looked like he was like the 2034 class. It was like,
Yeah.
Hey, can I get a Scully? And he's like, well, I'm going to need to see some tape.
That's what I'm saying. That's what's so good about this. So our local news people were out there, and obviously the cameras just flocked to Matt Rule. He's a star. And there was that interaction with that kid who came up to him, and he's like, yeah, I want this picture, but I also want a scholarship. Can I get a scholarship? And Matt Rule's like, where's the tape? That's so good. That's such a great line.
It is.
You know, some kid asked him, hey, I got this football for you. Throw it deep to me. I want to catch a touchdown pass from Matt Rule. And Matt Rule threw a perfect spiral all the way into the corner down there. Kid caught it.
Ball.
Matt Rule turns around the camera and goes, I'm Dylan Raiola.
Through a dart.
People coming up to him, taking pictures. He's doing the hand sign. He's doing the finger points and whatever. I don't want to go overboard and be like, oh, well, this would never happen under any because we do that too much. This would never happen under any previous coaching staff. But it just, the idea is reinforced over and over and over again how good he is at just dealing with people. And if you have that in your repertoire, you're probably going to be okay at your job.
Well, it's one of those things he said in like the introductory press conference, right? He's like, I'm the coach of Nebraska. I understand what comes with that. I'm not here to live in an ivory tower. My wife, my family, we're part of this community.
Yeah.
And he's, backed that up.
He has. He doesn't mind telling people where he's at, where he's eating.
Yep.
Like, come on down, whatever. If you got a crack at having a picture with me, then absolutely.
I'll point at you. It's cool. No big deal.
We'll take a picture. I'm sure he gets some odd, weird requests and things of that nature, but he deals with it because he's a really good people person.
Also, with Terrence Knighton standing near you,
CEO of Death Row,
it probably scares off the weirdos some of the time.
Yeah. You don't want Terrence Knighton saying cuss words to you.
We got a problem here? No, sir. No. Oh, sorry, Mr. Rule. Sorry, Mr. Knighton.
I'm the CEO of Death Row. That's Mr. What do they call him? Pork tenderloin?
Pork chop?
No, it's not. It's pork pot roast.
Pot roast.
Mr. Coach Pot Roast.
Veal cutlet.
Mr. Coach Pot Roast, can I take a picture with Coach Rule, please? Sure. Fine. Go. Do it
get
now.
One.
Go do it now. Then you're out of here. He's very good at this. That's we only had a couple minutes in this segment, but that's basically the point.
Good take.
People are comparing inevitably Matt Rule to other coaches that have been in Nebraska before.
I would never.
Star Wars fiend, Mike Riley. Maybe come here, let's sit down. Let me tell you a story. I think Mike was really good at this stuff, to be honest with you. He just wasn't as enigmatic. He wasn't he didn't have as big of a personality, so he wouldn't be out and doing stuff often. But if you went up to him and if you saw him, he would talk with you. Some other coaches maybe would have just said, thanks, appreciate you. See ya. Bye.
All right, everybody, we're here. Carl is only going to take pictures with the hot chicks, okay? The rest of you can go.
Charles says Bill Callahan is probably like, this is too technical for you, Husker fan. You country bumpkins. Yeah, there was an air of that with him a little bit.
And now look at him.
I saw Bo once when I was in school running on camp. He would jog on campus, and I passed by him really all the time. And only one time I tried to engage with Bo. He was on his run, and he was really sweating it out. He was getting after it. He was chugging. He was struggling a little bit, and I don't know why, but I decided that day I would try to say something to Bo, and I said, "Hi, Coach."
Oh no!
What do you think he did? He definitely didn't stop his run. I'll give you that.
Replied with a grunt.
Nailed it. 100% correct, Josh. And then kept going.
So on brand.
I mean, it was just me. It wasn't like me and a group of people trying to stop him and take a selfie with him. I was just trying to meet an acquaintance with Bo. And he goes, just keeps running. You nailed it. It was the most on brand thing he could have done. And he did exactly what he was supposed to do, given that he was Bo Pelini. So speaking of, Josh, you mentioned the everything that comes with this job kind of thing.
Yeah.
There is the filthy, dirty media, of course.
Those jackwagons.
The filthy, dirty media trying to make something out of nothing. We will investigate in the noon hour. Are we making too big of a deal of this? Special teams, wide receivers blocking, Dylon being better than everybody else. Is this our fault? Is this the dirty, filthy media's fault? Or is this is this Matt Rule being a little fired up?
Tired of you guys and your gotcha questions.
We will investigate later on in the show. Joel writes in on Twitter.
Hi, Joel.
It's fair to say nobody has embraced it as much as Rule. That much is for sure. He has used the "this is Nebraska" fishbowl thing to his advantage quite a bit. Quite a bit.
Yeah, come to Nebraska. Hop in the fishbowl.
It's great. Get in the hot tub with me. In this hot tub. He's got the And he's got the midseason. He's let the hair grow out a little bit too. You know, takes the hat off. He kind of looks like he's been through it for a couple of weeks. Maybe he'll bring out the Fu Manchu again soon.
Oh,
who knows? Maybe it's almost time.
Is it Fu Manchu season?
Well, it's not until November. That was the Iowa game last year where he just randomly had a Fu Manchu for like a day and then took it away. All right, we're back after this. Bryan Munson's going to join us, talk some recruiting about last weekend, about this coming weekend. Is there anything to talk about this coming weekend? I guess we'll find out. Munson joins next on 1620 The Zone.
Bryan Munson.
Hey, long call. Comfy left zoom buster. 63 bang. Z Maui. Alert. Paradise Z Burger Y wrap on one.
Husker Online on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Fresh off a long night of jumping through tables and eating chicken wings, Bryan Munson joins us now on the 42 Degrees of Source hotline. Hi, Bryan.
Yeah, last night went very, very well for me.
I was trying to tell people, I was like, I don't like what I've seen from the Dolphins. Let's just hammer the Bills here, and I ended up being correct.
I didn't watch a lot of the Dolphins game. I wasn't very impressed with the Bills' first half against the Cardinals. However, they seem to kind of calm down, normalize a little bit, and get things under control in the second half. And Josh Allen, I guess he's the most overrated player in the NFL. But I guess it still means he's pretty good. And didn't need to do a whole lot last night because Cook was cooking. And I know this, and we talked about this last year, man. The Bills cannot get into a game of let's just go ahead and lose our top defender week to week and see how long it takes for us in the season for it to catch up to us. Because this is 2 weeks in a row on the heels of losing Milano in the preseason. It's a dangerous little game that they're playing, and they need to stay healthy. They need to stay healthy for sure.
Bryan Munson of Husker Online is with us. Okay, so let's go back to last weekend. It's already resulted in a commit, a big in-state one in Christian Jones for Nebraska coming out of the Colorado weekend. He said, "Hey, look, okay, now I've seen what I needed to see. They're going in the right direction." It was a high-profile recruiting weekend. I guess where do we stand right now that we've kind of removed the emotion from last week and the players have kind of returned home and are getting ready for whatever comes next?
Well, I think the big overriding thing is exactly what Sean said this morning in Tunnel Talk. Nebraska is once again being considered to be a cool place to go play football. And I think that was essentially what was needed. There's a makeover. There's a makeover in culture. There's a makeover in talent. There's a makeover in perception. There's a makeover in that national perception of being cool again. And you fall out of being cool when those national outlets and people don't feel like they need to talk about you because nobody's interested. And, Will Compton and Bustin' with the Boys deserve credit. And, and it goes back to Bud Crawford, lead them out. Man, there's some cool people from Nebraska that, that are out there in the public eye. And then, oh yeah, by the way, they went out and scored 28 points on Colorado and shut them out in the first half. And looking like maybe possibly they're going to have a nice little run through the first 7 games or so. I think that these are all things that Nebraska needed to have happen. I think though last week where it was just you and I talked about it, this really critical group of visitors where we can kind of go back and point to it and say that was it. That was the moment where things really started to turn. You had 40 some odd players come in that had offers. Most of those guys had already been in Nebraska. So you got guys that are on return visits, setting up all these other additional visits in the future. And I'm not going to go through that again, but hopefully getting it down to you want to come back to Nebraska again in either April, May, or June for an official visit. And we're going to be in contention for your commitment in July. I'm telling you, the 2026 class, they're doing a masterful job. And this weekend, kind of flips it a little bit, the whole narrative, but really interesting group of guys still coming in this weekend. But I think overwhelmingly, Nebraska is cool again. The atmosphere is amazing. They've had a family member call me that's been a season ticket holder for years, never heard the stadium like that before in his life. And I really feel like Nebraska fans are 100%, on the side of the Huskers. Not that they ever weren't, but right. They are definitely loud and proud now.
Yeah, there's an intensity about it now. That's for sure. Yep. Nebraska put their best foot forward last week from a crowd perspective, and then obviously from the football perspective too, which is pretty dang important. So let's go back to the 2025 guys here. We highlighted those 4 guys going into the weekend. They got Christian Jones. What kind of vibe do you get right now from Dawson Merritt, the Alabama, the current still Alabama commit? What kind of vibe do you get from him right now coming off of his visit?
Yeah, I think he was blown away. I don't think he expected at all to see what he saw. And this is a guy that isn't too unfamiliar with, like a Michael Terry not knowing what a Nebraska football game is going to look like. Dawson would have a pretty good idea. And he was absolutely floored with where I think Nebraska, the atmosphere is at, the support for the team. But I think also sitting there in the stands, he had this finally kind of revelation that he feels like Nebraska's on their way back. Everybody's been, and this is kind of like what I said in 3 now. You can only get by so long with people saying it and telling you to close your eyes and envision it. You need others to see it, and you need them to go out and say that they're seeing it. And that's when things really start to take hold, as long as you keep winning. So Dawson now, really interesting spot. I mean, you and I kind of talked about it again last week. Geographically, it makes a lot of sense. He's a Kansas City guy, and he is committed to Alabama, and they did struggle maybe a little bit last week. An interesting matchup this week with Wisconsin. We'll see how that kind of goes. But I mean, I think that if there is a team that can sneak in here and really, keep the door open to him, it's going to be Nebraska. I think he feels like he has a great connection to Rule, has a great connection to Dvorak. They've laid out a great picture for him and a plan for how they could use him on the football field. He has to know that the minute he got to Lincoln, he was just moments away from just carving out a role. And I'm not sure that he could say that about going to Tuscaloosa. And that's just that has to do with the type of talent that's there already. So I think that's a really, really interesting thing with him. And the door's not shut with him. The door is absolutely not shut with him.
Munson, we've talked plenty about how important Dylan Raiola is in this entire thing. Kids see that and they're like, yeah, well, I could have that guy throwing passes to me, or I could be blocking for him, or, be on the same team with him on the defensive side of the ball, whatever it might be. He's a huge factor in, I think, all of the things that Nebraska does in recruiting right now. How has Nebraska done so far, given that the expectation should tick up a little bit with that kind of guy on campus, and now with him performing the way he is? Or is there still some room to grow? Like, there's still more checks to cash, I guess, in the name of Dylan Raiola?
I don't even think some of the ink has hit the check yet.
Yeah.
I think that there's absolutely bigger things on the horizon here. Now, maybe the one thing to kind of consider here is, like, he got to know David Sanders through the process when he was committed to Georgia, and David Sanders was being recruited by Georgia. So maybe he doesn't have that same kind of network that he once did, like with the 2025 class, because he's been in Nebraska now for the last 9 months. So maybe that hurts him just a little bit. But what it really still comes down to is that, if those guys are going to know who he is, so the minute that Nebraska reaches out to him, there's an automatic association being made. And pretty soon, sooner before later, there's also going to be a connection between he and them, because that's just how he is. That's just how he kind of rolls. He's very involved. He's a type A guy when it comes to kind of getting into that space and wanting to get his hands on it, because he wants to bring in the right pieces to Nebraska as well to help Nebraska be successful. So I think that there's still some very, very big things, on the horizon. Nebraska, I kind of mentioned this morning in Tunnel Talk, and I mentioned it in 3 and Out on Wednesday. They're doing a fantastic job by going out and really trying to find the best national talent that's in the immediate neighboring states and in the radius.
Yeah.
Those are the guys that visited last weekend for the most part. Those are the guys that are continuing to find their way into Lincoln this weekend, with the exception of they don't really have the offers from Nebraska yet, that are coming this weekend. And I think that that's really a fantastic way to kind of get this thing rolling, is by kind of stealing that talent away from the Kansas schools and Iowa schools, and and trying to be disrupted in Kansas City and Missouri in general. I think that that's really how you build this thing, and that's where I think the success can get there. When you put a Coach Mosey back into Kansas City, where he was a head coach at a high school, at least Summit North, and tell him to go out there and get those guys. I think that there's some really, really nice pieces being pulled together right now by Coach Rule.
Speaking of this weekend, what are we watching for, if anything? Obviously, it won't be as high profile as it was a week ago. What are we watching for in terms of visitors or elsewhere this weekend in recruiting?
Yeah, it is a different weekend. Like I said, you got about 30 visitors coming in, which is fantastic. I mean, I think that that's a great number. The span of control is very, very nice. The headliner for this weekend is Matt Ludwig. We have been talking about Matt Ludwig now for a while, because this is Vince Genatone's cousin. He's a tremendous athlete from Billings, Montana. Obviously, Nebraska got a player out of Montana last year with Quinn Clark. This is a guy that could play. Initially, they're kind of looking at him to play tight end, but based on like where Nebraska's kind of at, like with all the tight end targets that are on their list, maybe he's a guy that really kind of settles in more as like an edge or a defensive end or something like that. But even like on top of that, Nebraska has got like a couple more 2026 quarterbacks to kind of talk about. Brady Palmer from San Diego, St. Augustine High School is coming in. He's got Ohio State and Auburn and Michigan State and Washington offers. You've got some other like regional guys like Tyron Parker coming in. He's got Kansas State, and Iowa State. You got a couple of those guys actually, like Landon Bloom, the 2027 guy from Woodbine, Iowa. You got maybe a guy or two that's coming in that's national, that's outside the radius a little bit. Jax Pope from Buford was obviously a teammate of Raiola's last year, who's got a Maryland offer. He's a safety. And then you got some local guys. One player right now that I think people need to kind of keep an eye on, because depending on how kind of things work out with another player or two, it could end up leading him to an offer. And Landon Von Seegern from Millard South is probably the top interior offensive lineman play in the state, and he's a junior. Just picked up an offer from Illinois. Really, his star is on the rise. So keep an eye on that one. And obviously, Jet Tamales coming in from Millard South too, had a huge game last week. So I mean, there's some guys in here though I think could pick up an offer. Nehemiah Cologne from Stillwater, he's an edge guy, and Rennell Johnson, maybe from Blue Springs. Also kind of got the same offers, KU, Iowa State, kind of that group of guys. But I think Nebraska is looking for some edges in the next year's class and getting some better targets on their board.
Good names to watch. Bryan Munson of HuskerOnline.com. Okay, Munson, weekend time for you, my friend. Enjoy. We'll see you later.
Sounds good, man. See ya.
Bryan Munson of HuskerOnline.com. We always send them in the weekend that way. I just wish that we would have, maybe Josh, we could get a sound effect, cracking open a beer sound effect.
Yeah.
Finally,
we got
Friday.
that lying around.
Just
yeah.
bang that whenever we send Munson off.
Yeah.
You're free. Or a sizzle or something like that. Because Munson has like 100 grills.
He does.
He's one of those 100 grill guys.
They exist.
Not in the modern way. In like the old school, I literally have grills that I cook stuff on.
It's like a pit master almost.
Yeah. I think that's fair to say. We got a question on YouTube.
Oh, we love questions.
People have concerned themselves this week. You guys have whipped yourselves into anything that you could find to be concerned about. The concerned boys. That's you guys in the chat this week. Not to jump the gun, Connor, but any thoughts what could happen to Nebraska's defense if Tony White leaves? Would any defensive guys follow? I mean, we're getting top-end recruits on that end of the ball, but it worries me that if White leaves, how does that change who we have and who we lose and who we get? The Who boys. That's what Star Wars Fiend says. So first of all, as I've mentioned before, Nebraska's defense is going to turn over quite a bit this year. I believe it'll be Tony White's last year as Nebraska's defensive coordinator. That feels fairly obvious to me right now.
You need to get comfortable with
now,
that.
At the same time, it does depend on what opens up and the right situation and all that stuff. He could stay here as long as he wants. We'd love him to stay.
We'd love it.
I think he's really, really good. I think he's really, so don't take this as I don't think he's good or I think he's replaceable or whatever, but I just think they're going to be fine. Because I think it's always been Rule's MO to be good at defense. Like they're going to be good at defense.
He told you much.
I believe that. He's told the truth. He's a truth teller. Unless he's talking about how bad or good the special teams are, I guess. But, and we'll get to that coming up in a few minutes. I just, I'm not overly concerned with that. And then there's a whole string of people whipping themselves into a frenzy about Rule leaving this week. Nebraska's good. Nebraska's ranked. And, you guys better hope Penn State wins. Like, I mean, he's definitely put it on the list. Matt Rule is not leaving before Dylan Raiola leaves.
Okay, yeah.
Like, so you could just go ahead and mark off the next 2 years. Chill out.
I'll take it.
And I think it'll go far beyond that too. But he does often make reference to, I'm not going to be here forever. Like, he won't. That's just life. That's just how it works.
Sure.
He won't be here when the current, when children being born right now are in college in 18 years. He won't be coaching my daughter at the University of Nebraska. He won't be. So
what a sexist pig.
You hope that he puts Nebraska in a better spot that he found it. I think he already has. And yeah, Josh has got his signs out, and I think that's very appropriate. Just chill out, guys. Why can't you just enjoy something for a little while? You got a good coach. You'll like him. You don't have to be constantly worried that he's going to leave. Also, whatever happened to Nebraska being a destination program? Isn't it? Hasn't he made it back into one, kind of? We just got done talking about how Nebraska's cool now. So if he could get 5-star recruits, and if he can win, what can't he do here that he can't do anywhere else?
Think of what he can do in another 14 games.
Yeah. Charles says we need a chill out sign. I agree. Get a chill out sign, Josh. Make another sign. Chill out.
Chill out. I like it.
Okay. We'll get to working on that one. Coming up next, the second of our two Bryans. Bryan Christopherson of Husker 247 coming up. We'll talk about we'll get into the very, very deep details of Northern Iowa.
The nitty gritty.
El Scorcho, by the way, writes in, Matt Rule won't coach Connor's daughter. Put it on the list. I would feel comfortable about that one. Unless he turns into a different kind of coach. I don't know. Lot of time. That's my only point. We don't have to be worried about that.
His options are open.
Back after this with BC coming up on 1620 The Zone.
Hey, Brian. Bryan Christopherson.
I gotta take this. It's Hap.
B-Rye, B-Rooney, drove my Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry.
Bryan Christopherson, Husker 24/7 on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
We welcome in Bryan Christopherson of Husker 247 now to the show via the 42 Degrees Source hotline. Hi, BC. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I need you to weigh in on something. There's currently in a group chat that I'm in, we are currently chiding one of the members of the group chat for eating cold beans out of a can for lunch. Thoughts?
Yeah. I mean, if they're not on really hard times, I would say you can give them some grief. If they are,
no, they're doing fine. They're doing fine.
Okay. Otherwise, I was going to say you guys are real jerk stores. But yeah, I think you're within the boundaries to take some shots at them.
He was like, you could get 30 cans of beans for for whatever. I'm like, I'm not walking out of a store with 30 cans of beans. I'm just not going to be the beans guy. I don't want to be the beans guy.
I can truly say I've never eaten beans out of a can. That's never happened in my life.
I don't know. Yeah, people should sound off in the comments here. I don't know what the general thought on that is, but it sounded weird to me. So I was like, you know what? I'm out. I'm going to make fun of this guy.
You need to at least pour it on a little plate or something that have your dignity.
I know he goes in there right with the fork. I have a picture of it. It's just, there's a fork in the can of beans. I don't like it. Not a fan. All right. Okay. On from beans talk. I guess we're on to, thank you for weighing in though. I appreciate that greatly. BC, are we overdoing the special teams thing this week? This is something that we will talk about a little bit later on in the show, but Rule commented on yesterday. Then of course, coming off of Monday where he said it's the worst performance that he'd seen on special teams. How do we pull this whole thing apart now that we've gone through the week?
I think there's a good mixture here. He's right when he said yesterday. I mean, there are some really good parts. I feel like Bushini's been pretty solid so far this year, and you have to give him a lot of credit on that boomer he had that got pinned at the 2. I mean, as one of the plays of the game. So you can't just take that out of the equation. However, the whole off season around here is been built around and it has traveled into the season, the chasing 3, right? And literally you got to have those 3 points when those opportunities arrive. I understand what he's talking about too with Tristan Alvano. It's not all on Alvano. The snaps have been rough. There was it was at the UTEP game, I think. There was an extra point where it almost rolled back there and Alvano did a nice job just to get that kick. With ball was practically flat for him to kick it off the ground, and he got it over the crossbar. And I do think that gets in your head a little bit as a kicker when you don't have complete confidence it's going to be exactly where it's supposed to be. So hopefully they get that ironed out. This is the week, though, you want to see them, make a couple plays in that phase of the game where you're like, okay, they tilted it, Nebraska's way, like they block a kick or they have that return or something where it just feels a lot better than it has, because we are getting to that portion in the season where if those wrinkles aren't ironed out, it will cost you a game at some point. And even that miss when you're up 14-0 against Colorado and you miss that 33-yarder, it doesn't seem like a big deal after the fact because it was kind of a butt kicking. But in the moment, it is. And if Nebraska's defense isn't so on point and comes out and gets the immediate stop, that's one of those things that can completely shift a game in October or November where you're up early, you're feeling good, you should be up 3 scores, and instead you miss, they go down and score, and suddenly you're in a game. So that's where you just got to have it.
BC, speaking of things that might happen in this game, could this be the Daniel Kalen game at some point?
That's possible. Now, I don't know how much they want to use him if, to take one of his 4 games away, if it's just to hand the ball off for 5 or 6 snaps.
Yeah.
So that's possible they could be saving him. Now, I don't know for sure on that, though, because you hear them talk about Gramstad and like how he works the scout team. And, you know, they would feel pretty good about him coming into a game in a tight spot, like if you had an injury or something too. So it definitely could be a possibility, but the only reason I'd say why you wouldn't see him is if they're taking the strategy of, we don't want to use any snaps up on these particular guys in a game in case we need them in November, like they did last year at the quarterback spot. So if you don't see certain guys like him or like, you know, Malachi or whomever, that definitely could be a factor that you need to weigh as part of it.
Are you concerned at all about Nebraska, like emotionally coming off of? I don't think anybody's concerned about them losing the game, but just in terms of kind of where they're at coming off of. I mean, there's a whole handling success that goes in there as well. I was saying earlier in the week, BC, that like all the indications that we've gotten so far is that Nebraska will be able to handle all of this stuff because, you know, they did it in that environment a week ago. Like, are we past the point where we have to really be concerned about them emotionally going into whatever challenge is in front of them?
My bigger concern is really actually just Northern Iowa, a team like that having a bunch of you know, guys who are ready to scrap like junkyard dogs, because sometimes you get those type of teams and players who feel like, you know, I could play with these guys and I'm going to show it on this day, and they kind of play above their heads. So I always consider that a possibility in these matchups. And these are kind of old games at this point, but I mean, Nebraska has found themselves in scraps with FCS teams before.
Yeah.
I mean, Amir had to rescue him 10 years ago. And so if you want a good example of a hangover game, this is way back now. Some of the stuff seems recent to me, and then I'm like, oh, that was 14 years ago. Like 2010, you know, Nebraska crushed Washington on the road, and everybody's patting them on the back, and then they couldn't do anything on offense against South Dakota State, who was not at that point who they are now. And it was a 17-3, just ugly, ugly game. I think the biggest thing in games like this, and if you want to use McNeese State 10 years ago as an example, Nebraska had a turnover in that game where they were driving for a score and it ended up a pick six. If you have to avoid like that 10 to 14 point swing giveaway to the underdog, because if they pick up a play like that, like in the second quarter or something, then suddenly you're really feeding their emotions and the possibility they could do something special. If you tend to avoid that type of playing games like this, ultimately over the course of the game, you take care of it. But to your question, real quick, I just think that the competitiveness within to be on the depth chart right now could help them this week, though, as far as not having a letdown. Guys are trying to earn their keep to play, so that's helpful.
I bet, BC, if you look back, like I think about the Northern Illinois game in 2017, like even though that's not an FCS team, it's a lower group of five opponent. Like if you look back at all of those losses, and Nebraska's had plenty of them now, or close games, you would find a pretty high correlation between their defense or special teams made a huge play or scored a touchdown or whatever it was, and then Nebraska either being scraps, like you said, or losing the game outright. Like I could think of probably, I guess was there one in the Troy game that they lost in 2018 where they had a bad, I know they didn't have Adrian Martinez in that game, but I'm just trying to think of all of those games and the bad things that happened in them to give the other team momentum.
I don't remember Troy as well. I do think they maybe gave up a special teams something or another, but that's the point of those things though. Usually, you play 130 snaps, the power conference team, if it's all even turnover wise, even if they're like not totally invested, they end up winning, but it's those type of plays that open up the door. So Nebraska's been really good at that so far. I mean, only one giveaway, and Dillon hasn't turned it over yet. Got away with one on the Ramir touchdown, but it counted for a touchdown. So if they continue to do that, they'll be fine on Saturday. But that's the one thing I always like keep in the back of my mind. If that pops up and you're -2 or 3, you can never discount anything weird from happening at that point.
What's the number of penalty? Nebraska has been penalized, I think, 14 times already this year, 7 in each game. What's a number of penalties you would feel comfortable with? Like if you look at the set, that's all situational game stuff. Like maybe they commit 10 penalties and they don't matter because they're at the end or whatever. But like, what's a number of penalties that before the game you'd be comfortable with saying, oh, that's okay. That's within the margin for error for them.
I always think if you're keeping it at like 5 or less, you know, you can live with that, something like that, you know. And Rule did say, I know there was a lot of people kibitzing about some of the calls in the second half, and I understand why. But he actually said on Monday, you know, looking back, a lot of them were fair. So you have to, I think, be honest about it and say you're going to run into crews who are going to be a little quicker to blow the whistle on some of this stuff, and this is what we have to get out of the way, because it really did stand in the way of Nebraska putting an exclamation point on that game Saturday, and that's okay. You can live with that. You still won, but at some point, those penalties can stand in the way of you winning and turn it from happiness to sadness. So that's the big key here to get that figured out.
BC, I know we should point people over to the Hypecast and the podcasts and all the stuff, but I want you to give us one of your oddly specific predictions on this show. Can you do that?
Sure.
Okay.
I think Jalen Lloyd's gonna have a touchdown catch of beyond 40 yards. I always say, hey, you got to get really specific, otherwise we don't like you. So I'll say it's 53 yards to Jalen Lloyd. Yes. I feel like they want to feed him the ball a little bit more. You know, he had the nice 36-yard hookup with Ryla down to the 1 last week and just missed on the wheel route. I just think there's going to be a play where he runs over the top. So that's that, and I would attach it with, I think he'll score, and I think Ja'Cory Barney's going to find the end zone, but Ja'Cory's is going to be on a run play, actually, where he like knifes through for 26 yards or something.
That feels like, for whatever reason, that feels like really low-hanging fruit to me this week. Like Ja'Cory Barney scoring on a long touchdown on an end around. I feel like that one, if you put the oddly specific predictions into a sports book, it would be like minus money on that for some reason.
Yeah, it is. I asked people on X, I guess it is, what they were going to predict as an oddly specific, and Ja'Cory Barney feels like his name is mentioned in every other post. So there's definitely a feeling he's going to get something. I mean, it's fair though. If there's not penalties, he probably had like 150 yards of offense in a primetime game against Colorado in his second game as a true freshman. That's rather remarkable when you really think about it. Like how he's just hit the ground, like, okay, this is what we're doing. I don't mind this. I'll play in this atmosphere, and he just kind of has that swagger about him. Like, let's go. He's the guy who in the spring game said, I'm going to take one to the house against Colorado. He didn't, but I like the fact he said it. I like that. I just like his the way he goes about his business. So he'll make some plays here in the next few weeks, I'm sure.
Rule mentioned this on Monday. My favorite thing that he did was when he got clocked on that first drive, and then he like rubber just popped back up and did the first side. Yep. That was awesome. That was really cool. Need more guys like that.
Yeah, it's a little bit of that Miami guy, like, you didn't do anything to me. You know, like, there it is. Nice try. Like, here we go. Let's play again.
You can't hurt me.
Yeah, those type of guys you can't have enough of. But he's been everything we thought he could be, and I think there's going to be more in store for him. So, I mean, he legitimately has lived up to the billing.
All right, BC, thanks. We'll see you tomorrow night.
Yep. Thanks, Connor.
Bryan Christopherson, Husker 247. And the Royals and Twins don't play each other the rest of the year. They might in a playoff series. Who knows? So me and BC can be cool for now. Be cool. Be cool.
Anything's possible.
A lot of bean talk in the chat.
Oh, can I get some beans in the chat?
Thank you for those of you who are weighing in on the bean conversation. I've forwarded some of your comments into my own personal group chat.
Good.
Unfortunately, it does seem like there was a bean army growing in my group chat, and now they seem vindicated by what's happening in our chat right now.
The bean hive is out to get you.
Yeah.
Poll question up at Happer Show. Do you want to be the beans guy?
I do not want to be the beans guy.
A lot of people commenting back. Oh yeah, good source of protein, good source of fiber. Yeah.
Yep, that's what Travis says on the text line. He says, "Got to load up on the fiber, Connor."
This is not a conversation about the worthiness of beans.
I love a bean.
It is the conversation about being the beans guy.
At work, eating the beans out of the can.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to be that guy. I
Nope.
maintain. Creighton got that commit that we were talking about.
Whoa.
Mr. Hudson.
Hang the banner. Connor was right.
Connor was indeed right again.
Out
Also,
of the blue.
Here's
Just
a little
gut feeling he had.
Here's a little context from Jacob Padilla.
Oh, he knows ball.
He is now the highest ranked recruit in modern Creighton history.
Jacob Padilla is the highest recruit.
No,
in modern...
Mr. Hudson.
Oh,
every kid is named Hudson now. Hudson Greer is the top 50 player in the country in question. Now committed to Creighton over Alabama and Kansas. He edges out current Blue Jay freshman Jackson McAndrew as the highest ranked recruit in modern history.
So he is Creighton's Dylan Raiola.
Sure. Let's say that.
Okay.
Our future hopes hang on Mr. Hudson.
Mr. Hudson.
Back after this with the odd news on 1620 The Zone.
And now we've reached the point in the show where Josh Odson reads the peculiar, the bizarre, the comical, the odd news with Odd Son. Odd news, Odd Son. See what we did there? The odd news with Oddson.
Creighton basketball's made a fan out of Josh Odson. Wrestling references on their Twitter account.
Go Jays.
Josh is a big J guy.
That's right.
That you're probably just a J.
Well, I mean,
you're not a Skur. You're a hater of the Skurs.
It's right there in the name. J. Josh. J.
You're a J. You're a Reeve J. You're a Javer.
A Javer.
You're a Javer.
That's what they can call us.
Yeah.
Me and Jake Ryan in an exclusive club. Javers.
Also, we have an update for you out of Georgia.
Georgia.
Yeah. What do you think happened, Josh, out of Georgia?
A bulldog was arrested for reckless driving.
Nailed it. Georgia quarterback Daniel Harris arrested on charges including reckless driving.
No.
Literally 4 minutes ago. Yeah.
Why are the politicians in Georgia too scared to ask what the hell is going on down there?
Dude, seriously, what is going on?
We make fun of the media a lot. Why will no one ask Kirby Smart, hey, what the hell's going on?
Well, why is it always this? The charges against Harris include reckless driving, affixing materials that reduce the visibility of windows/windshield, no proof of insurance, operations of an unregistered vehicle without a current license plate and revalidation decal, and use of safety belts. Wow, he just really hit the gambit with that. That's how not to drive 101. Per the jail log, Harris was booked at 10:40 p.m. last night, released at 11:49 p.m., and paid $50 and got out of jail. It's almost not funny anymore. Or is it more funny? I don't know.
Well,
it's obviously not. There's been some instances which have been very not funny.
Right. Yes. I was joking when I gave you the answer.
You were absolutely correct. You've been good at guessing things the last two shows here.
2 for 2. Just don't ask me who went to what mid-level college.
Yeah. No, don't do that. All right, odd news. What do we got?
Celebrities. They're just like us.
Yeah, they are.
Lady Gaga is blasting some former NYU classmates for creating a nasty Facebook group about her years ago, claiming she would never make it as an entertainer. The celebrated singer/actress hopped on TikTok to address the now deleted page from when she attended NYU's School of the Arts back in 2003. Back then, a few of her fellow students had created a private Facebook group under the title, and Gaga fans, forgive me.
Watch out, Gaga Hive.
Stephanie Germanata, You Will Never Be Famous. That was the name of the group. Accompanied by a throwback photo of the superstar. Stephanie Germanata, of course, Lady Gaga's real name. Gaga decided to acknowledge the Facebook page after a screenshot was published on TikTok, firing back in the comments. Some people I went to college with made this way back when. This is why you can't give up when people doubt you or put you down. Got to keep going.
So this is Lady Gaga's burner account, maybe?
Well, she is just letting people know, hey, they made a nasty Facebook group about me back in the day, and they were wrong. It's also, it's more of receipt checking.
Why is she dunking on random Facebook groups from 2000 whatever?
Go see Joker in theaters next month.
Yeah. Is Lady Gaga trying to, what's she doing? Oh, is she trying to be relevant again?
Well, I mean,
she hasn't been around much lately.
Define relevant.
I don't know. I hadn't released good music.
I don't think she's interested in that. No.
Really?
No.
Am I missing something here?
I think she would like to just be in movies.
Oh, well, I don't think she seems very good at that.
Wow.
Sorry. Just what I've seen.
Connor out on A Star Is Born.
I never saw it.
She was good.
Okay.
Little long.
Her and Bradley Cooper were in love.
Mm-hmm. You remember that? Remember when they sang at the Oscars and looked longingly into each other's eyes?
Yep.
And then both left the person they were with?
Not weird.
Not weird at all.
Next,
truck spill of the week.
Good.
We
beans?
No.
Is it beans?
Close. Commuters on a California highway were given ample reason. Connor, would you like to guess what this truck spill is?
California highway. Is it very California of it?
Very California.
Avocados.
No.
Oranges.
No.
Is it a fruit?
Yes.
Apples.
No.
Is apples probably is an apple a vegetable?
It's a fruit.
Apple's a fruit. Yeah. What else is a fruit in California? Cherry. Cherries.
No, that's more of a Michigan thing. Grapes.
Grapes.
Because they make the wine with the grapes.
Yes.
Have you
ever been to Grape Town? Grape Town, South Africa. Have you ever been there?
I have not been to Cape Town or Grape Town.
I think I'm going to Grape Town next year.
You're going to California or South Africa?
California.
Okay.
Yeah, I call it Grape Town.
Either way, tell Charlize Theron I said hello.
I'm going to the Nap. I'm going to the wine country, I think.
Wow.
Yeah. I know this might be breaking news to some, but it's happening.
Okay. I like that.
Right around this time next year.
This time, but this is football season.
I know. It's sad.
Wow.
But you got to do what you got to do.
Okay. The California Highway Patrol said a crash involving 2 semis and a pickup caused one of the big rigs to spill its load of grapes on the 165. The grapes were soon crushed by passing vehicles, creating a slippery mess.
But that's what they're supposed to do.
That's
Be
right.
crushed.
Highway was closed in both directions. No injuries reported. The cause remained under investigation, but alcohol was not believed to be a factor.
Many people are making fun of me for asking the question, is apple a vegetable?
I wanted to, but decided, no, I'm going to protect my guy here, so I kept it moving.
Thank you.
But that is a bad question.
I understand it.
Bad question.
I understand. I just thought, I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking.
I don't know what I was thinking.
It's not like the other fruits. The other fruits seem like, I'm going to eat this fruit as the apple. How do I put this? The apple, poll question. Is the apple the most vegetable-y fruit?
Is the apple the most vegetable-y
fruit? So think about it, right?
Okay.
It's not like the other fruits. It's not like it.
It's not like a zesty fruit,
that's what I'm saying.
Like a lemon, a lime, an orange.
Yeah, apple juice, boring. It's nothing like orange juice. Nothing like grape juice. Tomatoes are probably a little bit more vegetable-y.
Yeah.
I'll make the case for apple. People are laughing at me a lot. That's okay.
Yeah, you dumb. Why'd you think John Morant went to whatever school he went to?
Yeah, see, Josh is bad at stuff too.
Yeah. Connor, we go back to TikTok for our final story in the odd news today.
Okay.
Did you know that there's a hack, there's a cheat code to the claw machine?
No. Interesting.
A TikTok gamer has revealed the reason you can't always beat the claw machine if you're just naturally playing the game. It has 5 different settings for that grabber.
Yeah.
The claw of claw
you
machine
just have to
fame.
get it on the right one.
Yeah, and
it just cycles through.
It cycles through them. Obviously, the highest grip, the tightest grip is given out the least frequently.
Sure.
This TikTok video has 3.4 million views.
Look at that.
And this guy says, if you press left, right, down, and then press the grab button twice before starting your game,
there's no way that's true.
That it'll hack into the machine.
That's not true.
You'll hear a sound and you'll be given the 5th.
That is not
the tightest grip.
That is incorrect.
Many people have said, oh my gosh, this works.
No, it doesn't.
Many people have also said that it does not work every time like the gamer claims, but
it doesn't work at all.
It does seem to work, I guess.
Left, right, down, press button.
Yeah.
No chance.
It seems unlikely, yes.
Now, they have those claw machines, Josh, in Vegas.
Oh, really?
Where they have balls of cash. Like they're inside little space balls, like Pokeballs, basically, it looks like.
Okay.
See through. So you can see how much money is in there. Or like sometimes there was like but it's money in Vegas at casinos. And so you could play this game at casinos. I always view it as throw your money away. And it costs whatever, however many dollars a spin.
Sure.
I would rather lose my money cents at a time in a sensible, more realistic machine that may once in a blue moon give me some amount of money. Hundreds of dollars. I don't know. Something like that. Or play blackjack and just quickly be wiped out. Derek writes in.
Hi, Derek.
If you want to go to wine country, you need to go to Dundee, Oregon. Best Pinot Noir in the world. Wine emoji, globe emoji.
Hey, hey, honey, you want to go to Dundee with me? Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah, get some
Pack a bag.
get some e-creamery. No, not that Dundee. Black Cat says Ameristar has this machine right when you walk in. Might have to try this trick out. Left, right, down. Press button, press button. Say it again.
Left, right, down, grabber button twice.
Okay, so just think 2, 2, 2, 2. Left, right, down, button, and then you go. Then it's go time.
Mm-hmm.
Scott says,
hi, Scott.
Cucumbers are easily the most vegetable-y fruit, narrowly beating out bell peppers. So we might have a little battle here. Bell peppers, cucumbers, tomatoes, or the aforementioned apples. The most vegetable-y fruit.
So you...
chime in on the chat.
So you're sitting at like third most vegetable-y fruit.
You think I'm third out of those four?
Yeah.
You think apples are more vegetable-y than one of those?
I would go tomatoes, cucumber. What was the other one?
Apples and bell peppers, green bell peppers.
Is that a fruit?
That's what Scott R is saying.
I mean, it has seeds.
That's what Scott is saying. I don't know. Not sure. Sound off in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
Brett says cucumbers are not fruit.
Yeah.
Now we have a whole conversation about what's fruit and what's not fruit.
Good place to be on a Northern Iowa Friday.
Indeed. I'm a big fan of this. Going back to the noon hour, we have an investigative report. Matt Rule. Is the media doing media things again? Is the media making too much out of the special teams being bad? We will give you all the evidence we have. What?
Botanically, cucumber is a fruit.
That's a technical term, Josh.
I know.
I think it counts. Back after this on 1620 The Zone.
He gives you the latest sports news, interviews, and life-changing commentary with a smile on his face. Because he wears those ticklish underpants.
Let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
All right, a couple of things here as we welcome you back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. Sipple's going to join us in a little bit here. Keys and Peas in the 1 o'clock hour, and we'll send you off into the weekend with a smile. Or maybe some fried food from the Roncalli concession stand. Have you heard about Roncalli?
I've heard of Omaha Roncalli.
Omaha Roncalli. People are referring to it, I guess, as Omaha Roncalli many times in a promo. That's where Unsportsmanlike College will be minus Josh, of course, but only his voice at 2 today. Creighton volleyball is on. Husker fans, Creighton fans, handshake meme. Creighton beating Northern Iowa in the first set.
Bad weekend to be a Panther fan.
Bad weekend to be a Panther. Also, maybe we need to just restart on what's a fruit and what's a vegetable.
Okay.
Sal says, I think we need new criteria. He uses the wrong version of new, but that's okay. For classifying fruit. No one is eating cucumbers or tomatoes in the fashion that they are eating fruit. That's what I'm saying when I say that an apple seems vegetable-y.
You're looking for the spirit of a fruit.
That's right. That's right.
Not the letter of the law.
This is like me hating instant replay. Mm-hmm. It's a technicality. You're getting us on technicalities. Oh, it has seeds. It's a whatever. Vegetable. Whatever. I don't know. Scott says, for a fruit to be vegetable-y, you need to be able to pickle them. Cucumbers, delicious pickles. Peppers, yes, absolutely pickleable.
Okay.
Apples, gross. You wouldn't pickle a watermelon, would you? I don't know. I've never pickled anything. I do like pickled things.
You can pickle the rind of a watermelon and
I had a pickle.
Put that on things.
I once bought a jar of pickled asparagus from the store, and I very much liked it.
Really?
Yes.
What was the vibe?
It gave it a really distinct taste. It was a snack, I think, or that's how I treated it. Pickled asparagus. It was delicious.
Okay. I like pickles. I like asparagus.
People don't trust my food takes around here, but why not? Give it a shot. Look for the pickled asparagus at the grocery store. Chat, back me up on that one. I'm sure you will on all my food takes.
Can I get some pickled asparagus in the chat?
Cody writes in.
Hi, Cody.
Fun fact, Kirsten Bernthal Booth's daughter plays for UNI. That is true. And so Kirsten's family is in attendance wearing Panthers colors.
Oh. I don't need your help today. You can support her. It's fine.
This is in Louisville, by the way. We're watching it on ESPN Plus.
Spoiler alert for what to watch. Creighton Louisville Sunday, ESPN.
Banger.
Top 10 matchup.
Creighton's got quite the challenging non-con.
Yeah.
As they need, because they play in a bad volleyball conference. Sans Marquette. All right. Little investigative report here. Let's okay. Zach says you can pickle pig's feet and eggs. I've heard of pickled eggs before. Yeah. Let's not get into pickling animals, okay? Have you seen what they're doing to our cats? And
that's a Springfield problem, not an Omaha problem.
People are saying all the things that you can do with these foods now, and I don't know. Hank says pickling is not the baseline for determining fruit versus vegetable. There's a big argument going on. Join us. It's a lot of fun in the chat. Our hot tub is enjoying a nice conversation today.
It is bubbling.
All right, Matt Rule. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to earlier in the week. You've heard these clips before, but I'm going to play them for you again, and then we'll end up on yesterday. So Matt Rule on Monday had this to say about Nebraska's special teams performance against the Colorado Buffaloes.
The worst special teams performance I've had in a long time. The worst. I don't know. I'm disappointed. And it's a lot of things, right? It's not any one thing. It's a lot of things. It's It's, we run down the opening kickoff, and we set the tone with some big hits, but we're not leveraging the ball, so the next one comes out. Like, thank goodness John Holtz might be the fastest kicker I've ever seen, because he runs Jimmy out of bounds. We get a punt blocked. That's not supposed to happen. Now we blocked a field goal, which is awesome. We have some goals about that. Bushini was a weapon. Like when the complimentary football was good, like the first drive we stopped them, they punt the ball to IGC. It bounces twice. He picks it up and he gets the ball back to the 50. Like, people aren't talking enough about what Isaiah's doing for us in the punt return. He dives and catches the one. I don't love the dive, but he catches one at the 30. Then we go down and score in 2 minutes. So he's doing a great job. Kickoff return, the first one should have been a big hit. We don't hit it. The second one, the ball hits the ground. Now, I know Jacory lost it in the lights, and we practiced at 9 o'clock in the morning, and I put that on me. Maybe we're not catching up probably on the lights. Like last year, we practiced Wednesday nights, so I'll have to do some more of that this week. And then, we missed a field goal, and the snaps haven't been great on field goals, so I feel like the kickers now are worried about that. So there's a lot of things that aren't real good. We got the right man for the job, and Ed, he'll get it fixed. But the guys, I think the guys have to recognize that, we've got to do a better job, and I think they all felt that.
First of all, great hoodie, by the way. I don't know if we mentioned that yet. Very good. I have the long sleeve version of that.
Okay.
Get a lot of compliments on it every time.
It's sharp.
So, Rule, worst special teams performance, but he also highlighted some good things, right? Some good things that they're doing. And forgive me, because this is going to be a lot of audio. We have a lot to take. We have a story to tell here. Here is Matt Rule, as I'm sure you heard on Monday. This is still back to Monday. Talking about how Dillon is ahead of the pack on offense, and the others need to catch up to him.
The offense, a lot of them have to pick their intensity up to his level, not the other way around. He's trying to throw the ball to guys that are supposed to be in certain places, and they're not there. He's at a whole other level, and those other guys better pick it up. That's said respectfully and with love. And I only say that because you guys sometimes ask me, like, hey, did you not throw it as much in the second half because of him? No, because of everyone else. Because other guys aren't, other guys weren't playing at the level I wanted. And so we're having free runners, like, they blitz us and the back misses it or the tackle misses it. And he's having to run around and make plays, but we had guys running wide open. We could have scored a lot more points. We threw a lot of shots in that game. A lot of them just didn't get thrown because he had to run, so we had no sacks because he avoided guys. But Dillon, through 2 games, Dillon's done everything you could want, except he didn't milk the clock enough going into the 2-minute last game. And that's the main thing I had for him. He can be sometimes too aggressive at times, and so me and him that's not Glenn, that's me and him just situationally communicating. But Dillon's doing a great job. I need everyone else to understand that, like, if a freshman knows all 120 plays in the game plan, then as a junior, I better know all 120 plays or 80 plays, whatever's in the game plan, I better know them.
Okay. So there's Matt Rule on Monday. Now let's go to Matt Rule yesterday. And I'm going to stop this in the middle. I'll have a comment, and then there's a second question attached to it. So this is it's kind of long. It's a couple minutes. But here's Rule yesterday when he is, of course, asked. You'll hear the question: how'd the special teams do this week? Right? He talked about how it was a bad special teams performance, one of the worst he's ever seen. How did the special teams do this week?
How's the special teams unit been in particular?
I think it's been about like it's been every week in practice. The issue hasn't been in practice. I think sometimes I say things and sometimes you guys maybe hear something else, and it's probably my fault for communicating poorly. And like when I said about Dillon, I was lauding Dillon. I wasn't saying these other guys. And then guys are saying to me like, "Oh, coach, kind of called us out." No, he's rare. He's rare. The standard in this program is so much higher than the guys than most places, and a lot of guys who transferred in are like trying to get used to it. So everyone in this program does things at a really high level. Just a couple people are just difference makers, and I've talked about Jamal Banks and what he's done coming in. Dillon's like that. The special teams has been a lot like it's been in previous weeks. They've got to go do it in a game now. They've got to go do it at a really high level. We have a standard on field goal block. We blocked one. I told them on the first meeting, I think that was on the show last night, like, I expect you to block one. It's a low kicker, but we have to have the same standard on field goal. So we'll see. We'll have to see in the games. Like, we're at a point now as a team where we prepare our tail off, and then the games tell us the truth about where we are.
Let me pause there real quick. There's a follow-up to this. You know what the follow-up is, right? It's, well, okay, what's not connecting there? What? And I don't think this is not a hostile situation at all, right? This is, special teams, they're good.
Matt Rule very willing to talk process
absolutely
with the media.
So the obvious follow-up, and comes from dear friend of the show, Michael Bruns. Why is it not translating? What's getting lost in the shuffle there? Here's Matt Rule continuing.
An idea of why that's not translating, I guess, from practice to.
I think you guys are making too much of it. Honestly, it's not that it's not translated. There's a lot of great things. There's a couple guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just, I guess it's the beast of being at Nebraska. Like, we have to find something. You know what I mean? Which is good. But like, I have to do a better job probably of not being as candid, because like we're running down. We're tackling the kickoff on the 12. You know what I'm saying? We're doing so many good things. You know, we had a kicker who had surgery in the summer. You know, he's fighting his way back. So I actually am pleased with a lot of things Tristan's doing, but I just got to be careful. I'm saying this because I want the players to hear it, just so we're on the same page. Nothing, you guys have a job to do, but yeah, I think a lot of things are going okay. Sierra makes an unbelievable tackle. Our punter puts the ball at the 2-yard line. There's just some other things that I just think we have to play through, honestly. But it's not. I don't believe it's that. I don't believe it's like, hey, it's not translating. I just believe it's like we're playing other good teams, or like Colorado's as skilled a team as we'll play this year, I believe. And some guys are just not making the plays, and what we're doing is just trying to coach off the game tape. Whereas last year I was like, hey, it's okay, guys, come on. This year I'm like, I'm letting them have it because I'm trying to move us to championship football. And so there's just, we just have to learn from the games, if that makes sense.
Glad he mentioned that part at the end, which is, yeah, the standard is kind of raised, right? Nebraska, for the last however many years, not only has been bad at making field goals, they've been bad at returning punts, they've been bad at returning kicks, they've been bad at, like, it's pretty much every element of special teams has been horrible for several years, including last, and it's gotten, like, there are parts of it that have gotten better, but there are parts of it that haven't, and Rule wants to hold them to a standard, and he said it, like, it wasn't a good performance, like, and so, yes, Matt Rule, we are bored. No doubt about it. If this was a big game, it would, every question wouldn't be about special teams, right? It just wouldn't. Although it would still be a question, and yes, people do care about it. But I mean, I do think it's a thing, and it's an appropriate thing to talk about with the group, as far as what they've done this year and their output on special teams. And I don't, like, just base level. You guys answer this question for me. Stop talking about beans in the chat and answer this question for me. Like, are Nebraska special teams doing what? Like, blank. Nebraska special teams are blank. Good, bad, fine, okay, horrible, very good. What would be your answer to that question?
Fine.
It's like fine to whatever is right below fine. Like average to
like
below average, right?
I'm not super worried about the punt blocking,
but it does all come down to the kicking. Like,
yes.
Ultimately, you could have incredible special teams everywhere and down kicks inside the whatever, but if you're not making extra points routinely, or you're not making field goals routinely, people are going to be like, well, your special teams suck. So I think that's part of his point as well. But opening kickoff last week, Nebraska stopped them pretty tight. They got down there quick. Mekhi Bear ran through 8 people, like he said he was going to. But I noticed that if you watch it kind of develop, if he hits one more, he might have a little cutback there. Second one comes back, he takes it all the way back to the other 40-yard line. That's bad, right? So there was a crack there, and then it opened. It cracked open. Nebraska's had some instances of really good punting, some instances of bad this year. Nebraska's made a field goal, and they've missed 2 field goals. I believe that is the way it is on the year right now, right? And the snaps have been high. So, but the punt returns have been fine, right? So ultimately, it's going to be a product of all of that stuff. I don't know what that equals to you. And like, the point is, if the standard is raised, they are expected to be good there. They're expected to be better than just, okay, let's just get by with this. Because they're going to have to be, because they know they're going to be in all these close games. So I think it's an appropriate, just so we're clear, like, I think it's an appropriate thing to talk about and talk about a lot. I just think Rule, it's very possible here that Rule doesn't have the answers. And that's the scary part. because what do you do? He mentioned it right at the end there. Like, we got a kicker who got hurt. And, I think the subtext of that is like, we got a kicker who got hurt and he was already struggling from a confidence perspective before that. And now he comes back and the snaps are wonky and slow and high. And we got to get that right. So we opened up the snapper competition this week. And we still got a kicker who's coming back from an injury and he's not confident. Like, that's a big hole to dig yourself out of. And is that going to get fixed? I don't know. Is there another guy on the roster who they could feel like could just go out there and make kicks? I know there's, if there's another guy on the roster they feel like can make snaps, they better have him on the field this week, right? Yeah. So I think it's a little give and take.
The field goals is really the only area that I'm concerned with.
You should be concerned.
Concern. Because I mean, they're going to be in close games. They need, like, you got to get right, like, or we'll find someone who is, like, can't leave those points on the field once you get into the cold, weathery Big Ten slate.
Jeff says, I mean, he did say it was the worst special teams he's ever seen.
Yeah.
Media, I don't think media is doing too much with that.
That line at the end of the last clip we played is important.
Like this, hey, we're trying to go to championship football.
My expectations are based on championship football.
And I think part of what he's trying to say is like, well, it's better than it has been, but it's still not good enough.
Yeah.
And that's an okay place to be. But they've made these significant jumps elsewhere, offense, defense, but it hasn't been as quick of an ascension on special teams. And maybe that's just because you got a kicker with a bum leg and a bad snap. Maybe that's just that's why that's the only reason we're talking about it at this point. Text from the 202.
Hi, 202.
I don't understand how we can scoff and push aside that question from Brunts. Missing 30-yard field goals in a season where it's almost completely about chasing three does seem like a problem. I agree. Everything else was good.
Yeah,
it's a problem.
It was BC that mentioned that, right? Yeah.
It's a problem that I just don't think Nebraska is going to have the answer to. I think we're going to be game by game in this whole year. You just hope that on the right day when Nebraska's in a close game, Tristan Alvano or whoever goes out there can get up there and knock one down. That's it is. I think this will be this way throughout the rest of the year. Every time the kicker goes out there, you'll be crossing your fingers. And they're going to have to send him out there. They can't go for it every time.
Is Hull just the kickoff specialist?
Maybe they put it, maybe we're at that point, but I tend to think that they think that it's more about the snaps than it is about the kickers at this point.
Well, sure, you would, before you like blow the whole thing up, you're like, okay, can we get the snap right to see if the kicker's right?
Seems like a good start.
Yeah.
So when I say we're bored, it's true. And this is going to be, if you want a subject line for Big Red Overreaction, here it is. How are the snaps on field goal and punt and things of that nature? So little give and take there from Rule at yesterday's press conference. He's going to keep getting asked about it, by the way.
Oh yeah.
And once again, I just don't think he has a good answer, because the only answer is like, I mean, our kicker, like, what am I supposed to tell you?
The kicker is the kicker.
The kicker is the kicker. There's another kicker, but we think the other kicker's better.
Not ready to go there yet.
Steve Sipple joins us on the other side. We'll see what Steven M thinks. Steven M Sipple is a gigantic fan of when people do this. They signal that they got a first down. Matt Rule did that at his press conference on Monday. I wonder what he thought. That and plenty more next on 1620 The Zone.
let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Here comes the clown.
And we're back.
It's a Husker Preview Friday.
Husker Preview Friday. Steve Sipple will maybe join us, but Josh just tried to call him, and it went straight to voicemail.
Didn't even ring.
Not good. Not good.
Nope.
Is he doing it? You guys let me know. I know you guys are on the boards and stuff like that. Is Sipple is he giving a speech right now or something? Somebody send the bat signal out to Sipple and tell him we're trying to call.
Doing a quick pod.
We only do this every week at the same time. And I too. So look at this great comment from YouTube, Alex. I really need to hear Sipple's bean takes. I do too. And I wanted to get his thoughts on the first down signals because he's such a huge fan of when people do that. An unexpected huge fan of when people do that.
I don't know if you're joking anymore.
No, I am dead serious.
Okay.
He goes, I
remember we talked about it.
He goes, I love
year.
when people do that. Yeah. He's a huge fan of this. So I imagine he's sitting in the front row of the press conference the other day. And when Matt Rule did this,
that's right.
He was like, hell yes.
That's my guy.
Jeff writes in.
Hi, Jeff.
He's probably on the phone with Lee Sterling. He was really scared off by Lee Sterling last week, wasn't he? Remember when Sipple came on our show and he was like, yeah, I think Nebraska is going to win, but Lee Sterling said they'd score 48 points on him. And it just gave me pause. It just gave me, Lee Sterling, he's been doing this for years. So it just gave me pause. Usually I will have received a text by now from Sipple saying, I'll call you back, but I haven't yet. So we'll move on.
Moving on.
Quick story here before coming up next, by the way, hang with us for a few minutes here. We are going to have your opportunity to win 4 Blur Party tailgate. What are they? Blur tailgate tickets underneath the viaduct. You can just stop right in there and wait your game. Grab a little lunch buffet. Maybe they got beans. Maybe they got beans. Maybe they're warm as they should be.
I would assume they would be. Yes.
They won't. You won't have to just eat them out of a can with a plastic fork. That's for sure. Plastic spoon. They're gonna get you hooked up. So you'll just have to answer a trivia question for us. But hang on, we'll do that in just a couple minutes.
Not now.
Not now. Do not call us unless you're Steve Sipple. Then please call us. This story in baseball has popped up last night. What an odd story we have for you. Sources. Twins cut minor league catcher Derek Bender for tipping pitches. Wow. Cut him for making a mistake such as tipping pitches? That seems a bit harsh, doesn't it?
Excessive.
Also, why is this a story on ESPN.com sourced by Jeff Passan? Interesting. Let's read on. The Minnesota Twins released minor league catcher Derek Bender on Thursday after he told opposing hitters the types of pitches that were coming to the plate during at-bats in the game last week that eliminated his team from playoff contention. Sources told ESPN. Bender, a 6th-round pick out of Coastal Carolina, was playing for the Fort Myers Mighty Muscles.
Fort Myers?
Fort Myers, that's Gary's guys, yeah. The Twin single-A affiliate in the team formerly known as the Fort Myers Miracle, right?
Yeah.
In the second game of September 6th doubleheader, Bender told multiple hitters for the Lakeland Flying Tigers that specific pitches were coming, being thrown by starter Ross Dunn. Lakeland scored 4 runs in the second inning and won the game 6-0 to clinch the Florida State League West Division and eliminate the Mighty Muscles from playoff contention after Fort Myers had held a 6-game lead 3 weeks earlier.
Whoa.
Fort Myers coaches were notified by Lakeland coaches about Bender's pitch tipping after the game. Bender's willingness to tip pitches surprised Lakeland players, and there were no indications of wrongdoing from the Flying Tigers, sources said. Bender had told teammates he wanted the season to be over, according to sources. I'd like to go home. Can we lose? Please. Bender, for the last 2 games of the season, which just wrapped up, was banished to the bullpen He spent the final 2 games of the season, which the Muscles won, not in the game, but being in the bullpen, far away from everybody else, unless you're a pitcher, of course, a relief pitcher, instead of being in his typical place, which would have been the dugout. He was the 188th pick in this past year's draft, signed for just under $300,000, and will keep the entirety of his bonus.
Oh, wow. Just
what a story.
Yeah.
What a weirdo. Who wants to go home that much?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to tell the other team your pitches? Nobody's here.
I want to go home so badly that if I get caught, I will never play baseball again.
He's absolutely blackballed now.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah.
Sorry. Nobody's going to pick you up.
No. What's the umpire's role in all this?
He's probably just got to sit there and listen to it.
Right?
He's just sitting there like, is this guy really doing this right now? Do you think the umpire was the knock?
It's coming hot.
Who knocked? Yeah. That's the question.
That's what Derek Bender's asking right now.
Yeah.
Who's the knock?
Who's the knock? Who's the rat? You filthy rat. What a story. I read that last night and I was like, what is going on here?
I don't really have a reaction.
I don't either.
Other than this is wild.
Yeah, that's it. Maybe that's our This Is Wild of the week.
This is Wild of the week, sponsored by Could Be You.
Could be you. This is Wild of the week, where we just bring you a story and we do not have reactions to it other than this is wild.
This is wild. I don't know. Maybe there's a Wild Willie's appliance store out there or something.
Maybe Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom.
Oh.
Wild of the week.
No offense to Wild Willie, but they probably have more money at a Mutual of Omaha.
Yeah. Anybody. We'll really take anybody.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be like alliteration or anything.
Text from the 757 about Lee Sterling is taking it on the chin the last week here.
Boy, he's going to be persona non grata in this town.
Lee knows nothing. Lee just shouts nonsense into the void. He's a pretty good professional gambler, right?
It seems like that, yes.
I mean, you would have to be good at it if you're a professional gambler.
I would think so.
Otherwise,
you'd go south pretty quick.
Yeah, you'd be in pretty big trouble. Also, Happer's meme guy has a meme for us. Have put up the Sipple bat signal, and it's instead of the Batman in the sky, it is a margarita. Good one. Also, poll question: did the ump smell a rat?
All right, we can do that.
All right. We will come back. Thank you for listening to our Wild of the Week this week. It's appreciated. And sorry we couldn't bring you Steve Sipple. Bat signal couldn't bring him in.
Need some new bulbs in that thing or something.
Josh, what's your favorite number 1 to 5?
4.
4. You're a big Brett Favre guy. Josh loves Brett Favre.
That is not what is happening.
You could be the Brett Favre caller at 402-951-1620 right now, and you're going to get the first crack at one singular trivia question. One trivia question. If you get the trivia question right, you are a winner of 4 Blur party passes for tomorrow before the Northern Iowa game. What better than a night game at Memorial Stadium and then you going to sit in a hot tub or whatever you do beforehand? You can wear overalls, eat corn. It was so much fun last week. It was great. And we're giving you 4 passes. So be caller number 4, Brett Favre, right now.
So I looked up
951-1620. Are they all problematic?
Joe Dumars for number 4.
Where'd you go to college, Josh?
McNeese State.
I actually can't remember. No, maybe that was Murray State, or I'm not sure. No, I don't.
Now you don't remember.
One trivia question. If you get it wrong, we got another trivia question for the next person. Back after this on 1620 The Zone.
Pineapple.
Sipple? Is that you?
That's a fruit.
Oh. He is here.
Pineapple.
Why are you only saying pineapple?
Pineapple.
Wait a minute. This isn't Sipple.
Pineapple.
No, I called. He called back. He wanted to make sure.
Sipple, say something other than pineapple.
Pineapple.
Oh, great. Big pineapple got the Sipple.
All right. We have a trivia question for you all today. You only get one. This is not a need to get to 6 game. Although you could still have your soul devoured by the devil at the end of it. We'll see. 4 Blur tailgate passes for tomorrow. Nebraska, Northern Iowa. You go, you hang out, you drink, you eat, you be merry. And
That's the way to go to the Northern Iowa
It
game.
truly is. That's a great time to do it. Other big games, you're just so locked in. You got your routine, whatever. Northern Iowa, take it easy and let Blur do the work for you. So that's where we bring in Grant, who was our lucky caller number 4. Hi, Grant.
Hello.
Grant, are you excited for the game tomorrow?
Yeah, go Panthers.
Go Panthers! No! Are you going to wear Northern Iowa stuff to the Blur tailgate if you win?
Yes, I am.
Oh, my goodness. Well, hey, look, rules are rules. He was caller number 4. We can't do anything about this.
Nope.
So, all right, here we go.
Sorry, Blur.
Unfortunately, if you're not a Nebraska football fan, you probably won't have very good luck with these questions, but we'll see. How much do you know about Nebraska football, Grant?
A little bit just from listening to you guys.
Okay, well, you won't get this.
He's doomed.
He's not going to get this.
If he's
All right.
listening to us.
Nebraska has, and these are hard questions. These come via Keith Mann's notes, game notes.
Keith Mann.
Thank you, Keith. Appreciate that. Nebraska has now, in the first 2 games of the 2024 season, has notched multiple takeaways in consecutive games. They have done this for the first time since 2020. Grant, name one of the teams Nebraska had multiple takeaways against in that back-to-back stretch in 2020. Go.
Iowa.
Wrong. Oh, I was going to give him a pineapple, Josh, to send him out of here. Yeah.
Pineapple.
Yeah, that's your incorrect whistle right there. Sorry, Grant. It was a hard question. These are hard questions. All right? And because they're a great prize.
I was rooting for Grant.
You were?
Yeah, I root for all of our audience members.
I'm going to have to come up with some more questions if we don't get this. Call, there's a line open for you, but we do have one more right now, 402-951-1620. Here's Bill. Hi, Bill. Welcome.
Hello, gentlemen.
Okay, Bill, you ready?
I am.
You have you seen the Blur? You know about the Blur?
I'm familiar with it.
Okay, good. We're gonna try and get you in there. Name. There were 5 Nebraska offensive players prior to this year who made the Senior Bowl watch list. Name 3 of them. Whoa. Yeah, I know this is kind of a need to get to 6, but it's a need to get to 3. Bill, name 3 out of the 5 Nebraska offensive players who were named to the Senior Bowl watch list this year. Go.
Bryce Benhart.
No.
Ooh.
But keep going. You're going to get you get 5 guesses. I'm making up the rules as we go.
Guesses.
Okay.
This year's seniors.
This year's seniors. Bryce Benhart is a senior, but he didn't make it.
All right. What else do we have here? Oh, blanking on all seniors here. I'll take a hint to get me started here.
A hint? Yeah, there is. You were on the right path on an offensive lineman. Guess another offensive lineman.
Scott.
Ben Scott, yes. 1 for 2. You have 3 more guesses, and you got to get 2 of them right.
Jamal Banks.
Jamal Banks, yes, you got 2. 1 more and 2 more guesses. Tommy Hill plays defense, so we're going to call that incorrect. Got to be on offense. 1 guess. You got to get it right. Whoa. Offensive guy.
Isaiah Nayor.
Isaiah Nayor is correct. Yes. Pineapple. The 5 offensive players, Jamal Banks, Isaiah Nayor, Thomas Fedoni, Micah Mazuka, and Ben Scott. Bill, well done, my friend. You are getting the blur passes. Hang on the line. Josh will grab your information.
Bill was so clutch.
Bill was mega clutch.
Had to have it. Got it.
Would you like to hear the other questions before we take a break?
Yeah.
That was hard. I understand that was hard.
I had zero clue on it.
4 defenders also made the Senior Bowl watch list this year. Name those 4 defenders.
Tommy Hill?
Yes.
The polar bear?
Yes. The other one?
I'm drawing a blank on everyone's name right now.
Who's Nash Helpmaker's best friend?
I know.
Ty Robinson.
Yeah, I can see him.
And Deshaun Singleton.
I knew you weren't going to take it. Starts with a T.
This would have been the easiest one. Which opponent does Northern Iowa play next week?
Hawaii.
A win on Saturday over Northern Iowa would give Nebraska a perfect 3-0 record in non-conference play. Nebraska last went undefeated in non-league action in which year?
I'm just going to throw out 2016.
You got it.
Yeah.
You got it.
We keep saying that.
They also went undefeated in league play in 2000 non-league play, 2000, 2001, 2003, 2005, 2010, 2011, and 2014.
Wow, so frequently.
Yeah, it's almost like they were good back in those times where they played easier non-cons. The Nebraska defense has held its opposition to 14 or fewer points in 6 consecutive home games. That's a pretty good stat, Keith, including 2024 wins over UTEP and Colorado. Under Matt Rule, Nebraska has held 8 of its last 9 opponents at Memorial Stadium to 14 points or fewer. When was the last time Nebraska allowed more than 14 points in a home game?
When was the last time Nebraska gave up more than 14 points in a home game?
Mm-hmm. And the 1 out of the last 9 home games in which they've done it.
Michigan?
You got it. Not bad, Josh.
Couldn't remember if that was a home game or not.
You got it. You got it. It was. It was bad.
Terrified.
Woo. All right. Thank you, Bill. Great job. Josh is going to get you hooked up after we take a break. Coming up in the 1 o'clock hour, Keys and Peas, and we'll get you out of here and off into your weekend. Talking beans and keys and peas. Back after this on 1620 The Zone.
He does it the only way he knows how.
with his massive sports brain sprinkled with a smidgen of rabble-rousing.
Let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
All right, there's the whole bean thing has evolved in the chat, it seems.
Beans are evolving.
So, Connor, where do you stand on the vegetableness of pineapple? That's like a 0% on the vegetableness scale.
Yeah.
I don't care where it grows from or what seeds or whatever is going on in there. I'm just going on vibes, basically. Pineapple absolutely does not. Pineapple might be the fruitiest thing out there.
Whoa. Is it the fruitiest fruit?
Yeah. That'd be too many probably fruit poll questions for today, but I like the question.
People would wonder what the hell's going on.
Is a pineapple the fruitiest fruit? Speaking of pineapple. Couldn't get a hold of Sipple today. Sad. We did send out the Sipple bat signal, though. And people are wondering why it looks the same as the Scott Frost one. Couldn't tell you. Don't know why. Here's a tweet from Jacob Padilla.
Hi, Jacob.
We're all locked into Jacob Padilla's tweets today.
Oh, yeah.
So Creighton got a 4-star recruit this afternoon by the name of Hunter. Mr. Greer. Hudson. 15th 4-star recruit Creighton has landed since joining the Big East, according to the 24/7 Sports Composite. Mack and his staff have landed at least one 4-star recruit in 8 of the last 12 years. Greer is the third top 50 recruit in CU's last 5 classes. Now, I do this because I want to read you these names and ask you what Creighton's hit rate is on highly touted players. All right, 4-star players, right? So the last 2 classes are incomplete because Jackson McAndrew and Larry Johnson just walked on campus. But before that, 2021, Kaluma, Nemhard, Mason Miller, and Trey Alexander. Like, those are all hits, right?
Yeah.
Those are all hits. I mean, I know Mason, like, isn't a prolific scorer or whatever, but like he's been a starter for you for the last 1+ years now. Kaluma transferred, Nemhard transferred. Trey is one of the better players in recent memory.
Now, is that a hit or a miss if they transfer?
I think it's still a hit.
Okay.
Because everybody transfers.
Okay.
But maybe I'm being too lenient. Rati. Remember Rati? I miss Rati sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
Andro Nakishvili. That's probably a miss. He was like a bench player, role guy, and transferred. Ryan Kalkbrenner, on the other hand. That one worked out.
Okay, we're calling that one a hit.
Yes,
okay.
that's a winner. Marcus Zagorowski. That's a winner. Jacob Epperson, probably not. Mitch Ballack. Yes. Man, I remember how excited we were for Mitch Ballack. I'm still excited for Mitch. I'll never be unexcited for Mitch. But he turned out. Tyshawn Alexander. He turned out. Justin Patton. He turned out. Ronnie Harrell.
Oh.
Josh, any thoughts on the career and times of Ronnie Harrell?
Like a comet streaking across the sky.
I actually think he kind of turned out. He probably wasn't exactly what we thought he was going to be. And then he transferred. Kind of an up and down, deal. He probably is a hit. Or maybe just a guy, unsportsmanlike conduct, they do the hits, misses, and guys. He might just be a guy. There's a bunch of hits. There's very few misses, and there's a couple guys. So, point is, Creighton's had some success with those type of guys. Star Wars Fiend, when I asked where Sipple is, he's probably with John talking about UConn basketball. Or was that about Rati?
Maybe.
EC says, "Welcome to the Connor Apple Show." Is that what they're renaming this? We've been looking for a better name for basically since the day we started. Haven't come up with one.
Connor Apple.
I don't think that makes it any better, if we're being honest with you. All right. Keys? You want to do some keys, Josh?
Yeah.
You got any keys this week, Josh?
The thing I'm most dialed into is
snapping.
No, actually, it's the avoiding the emotional letdown. Just like, I think they're well coached enough where it's not an issue, but I'm still scarred by the last 20 years of teams just Oh, North Dakota's coming in?
Yeah. My keys are you don't have to it's once again it's another week of like, here's kind of what I want to see. There's no real keys to winning the game. What are the keys to winning the game? Be more talented and
show up, stay healthy.
Yeah. Like the keys to winning were accomplished like 100 years ago when these programs started to exist. That was already done. The keys to this game were already made. But the things that I want to see of this game are just made up as of last night. Mr. Clean is key number 1. Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean. Bum, bum, bum. If Nebraska commits more than probably 5 penalties in this game, I'm going to be sad. No fumbles. If you throw a pick, you throw a pick. I'm fine with picks. Dylon hasn't had one yet. There will be a huge overreaction when he does throw a pick.
That's right.
But I'm fine with them, right? Picks are usually the other team making a play. Sometimes they're huge mental errors, right? Fumbles are the hard ones to get over because they're 100% of the time like mental errors. Very rarely it's the other guy just coming in with the super punch. The Dolphins had one to beat the Jaguars last week, or in their comeback right in the goal line against Travis Etienne. So you hopefully that doesn't happen. But if you throw a pick, you throw a pick. But just clean it up, bring the focus. You don't have to have this huge emotional edge, but let's see it be clean. So if we are talking about keys to the game for Northern Iowa, like they can't win the game if Nebraska plays clean. They physically can't win. So if you're looking for the hole there, like Northern Iowa physically can't win the game if Nebraska doesn't turn it over to them, if they don't hand them the ball, right? So let's not do Iowa State 2009 or whatever year that was. Let's not do that.
6
not today.
turnovers.
Yeah, let's not do that. Not interested this week. That's key number 1, Mr. Clean. Key number 2. I love you. You love me. Time to have a bunch of Ja'Cory Barney. This is a thing I want to see. Ja'Cory Barney. Tiny prediction. He scores a touchdown of more than 50 yards in this game, probably just by pretty much outrunning everyone. Ja'Cory Barney. It's a tiny baby prediction inside of a key. You like that?
It's like a Russian nesting doll of a take.
Yeah, yes. Open it up. There's more inside. I'm kind of sad that BC told us earlier that everybody apparently thinks this.
Yeah.
But I thought it was original in my thought. I was like, I could really see Ja'Cory Barney just running circles around people this week. I think that'll happen. Ja'Cory Barney, 50+ yard touchdown.
It's gonna get loose
in this game. Yeah. The big purple dinosaur is loose. And then he might do one of these. All right. Key number 3. Run game's closed. Polar bear out front. Should have told you. I love the movie National Lampoon's Vacation.
Yes, you do.
Josh, I do. So I had to put a reference in. Don't expect Nebraska to dial up these weirdo blitzes. They're not. They're going to be incredibly vanilla, possibly even more vanilla than they were the first week. It's amazing how vanilla they've been in the first 2 weeks of the season, even in the Colorado game. It wasn't. That's one thing from last week that we didn't really talk about. It was not nearly as much of a kitchen sink game as we thought it was going to be. They didn't really put anything out there. They didn't do anything special. They didn't do anything different. They just kind of overpowered Colorado. So they're going to go into conference play really without having shown any tricks up their sleeves. Last week I predicted that it would be Heinrich Harburg and you'd see a little bit of that. None of it. Didn't need it. You're up 28-0 before you could blink.
So in game 1, you predicted no Heine.
Yeah. Do we have to have a tiny Heine prediction?
And there was a Heine.
Yeah.
Game 2, you predicted Heine.
Yep.
And there was no Heine.
That's right. So game 3, are you asking how much Heine?
And we will fade whatever you say. Yes. How much Heine?
Some Heine.
Some Heine.
Yes. As the backup quarterback.
It seems like the perfect spot for it.
But I think we'll see some Danny too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think we'll see some Danny. And that leads us to our 4th key, bonus key, Josh.
Bonus key.
Bonus key.
In a Northern Iowa week,
bonus
we're getting
key.
a bonus key. Everybody else giving you their keys is just phoning it in this week. Trust me, I know. Connor's giving you extra keys.
Extra key, one extra key. You know that song by TLC?
Which one? Ain't Too Proud to Beg?
No, not Waterfalls.
No Scrubs?
Yes, but the opposite of that.
All
Scrubs. We do want scrubs. We do want those scrubs. Scrubs are the people that get in the Northern Iowa game. I want all of them. All of the scrubs in the game. Scrub Nation, stand up.
Triple digits in players played.
No offense to the scrubs. I'd like to call you that, though, because they probably won't be playing in important minutes this season. And we're going to get those guys into the game. And after the game, there's going to be a great story about some walk-on from Binkelman. And they're going to be like, yes, that guy finally lived out his dream.
And Matt Rule's going to talk about it for 4.5 minutes in the post-game presser. Oh, I thought it was a great opportunity for him. He's worked his butt off in practice, built his way up from the scout team. We thought it was a great way to honor him, get him on the field.
Yep.
You know, his whole family was here. They've been here since the 40s or whatever.
They've had season tickets, you know. So, yeah, there's my 4 keys. 4 keys.
How's my Matt Rule? Did we like it? Still working on it.
What?
My Matt Rule impression.
Oh, yeah, that was pretty good. You get talking fast.
Yeah.
Let's
talking fast, little gravelly.
Text the 402.
Hi, 402.
Will we get some Heine this weekend? That sounds like a good poll question.
What do we think? It's kind of a horny poll question.
Yeah, we want to uphold our reputation of not being a horny show.
The only one on the station.
Jeff says it's nice to have this game after the exhausting Colorado week. I'm actually more exhausted by this than I am about the Colorado week. By the end of last week, I was just like, let's do this. We have to go. Now we can talk about beans. I
like both.
I would much rather have the big game and then at the end of the week just fall asleep for 14 hours rather than, oh my God, we're watching the long snaps.
But I only agree,
that snap was too high.
I only agree with you because the big game went well. If we had done all that work,
no, Josh, you always take the big game. Untether yourself, Josh.
To pimp a big game, and it was all to get laughed at on a Monday. Oh, that would have been horrible.
That would have been very bad. That would have been very bad.
Imagine losing that game.
But we're already in the process of making Illinois the Super Bowl for, we're already in the process of making Illinois out to be the 85 Bears.
Hey, you have 2 choices for the Illinois game. There's 2 narratives. Pick your narrative. Illinois is the 85 Bears, or what about the high school kids? Fridays are for high school.
Oh, we're over that, right? I haven't heard anybody talk about it. Maybe I don't know.
Because the team is good. You don't want to watch a bunch of losers on Friday night.
Did they move some of those games around? Some of those high school games?
That's a good question. I haven't heard.
I haven't been plugged in enough to the high school stuff this year.
I watched a little Central North last night.
With Gary Sharp and John Schreiner.
Yeah. It didn't sound like John Schreiner.
Really? Who was he impersonating?
I don't know.
Joyo on YouTube says,
Joyo.
Creep, got a creep. That is a reference to Josh and I's mutual favorite movie, The Other Guys. Thank you. I appreciate that greatly. Travis says, only natural to have Heine talk on this day of beans.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, those are my keys. I don't know. You guys just enjoy your day tomorrow. Go
have fun. Be safe.
My only wish, my wish for you is that this game was not at 6:30. I usually love night games, but my God, tomorrow would have been great to have it at 11 o'clock and just get it out of the way.
And then boom, your whole day's free.
We could have done what Matt Rule thought we were going to do: kegs, eggs, and football.
Let's go.
But instead, we didn't get that. Mike says this.
Hi, Mike.
The phone was ringing, but it's not anymore. Mike, Connor, can you repeat your 4 keys? I just tuned in. Yes, I'm going to give them to. I'm going to give you the names of the keys with no context.
Rapid fire.
Mr. Clean. I love you. You love me. Run games closed. Polar bear out front. Should have told you. And the opposite of the TLC song. No scrubs.
Really, only the second one is hard to decipher.
Yeah, you guys could probably figure it out. But yeah, those are my references. Jeff says Josh needs to make a meme of Hap skydiving with no parachute. Untether yourself.
Wow. Wishing death upon Happer.
It's just in a graphic, I guess. Joel says we all want some Heine on Saturday. That's what we're all wishing for. Just a little bit of Heine. John emails in regarding beans. We're going camping this weekend. My wife texted me to see if there was anything I wanted her to pick up at the store before we go. After all the bean talk this morning, you know what I told her. There will be the beans that I eat will be cooked before consumption, though. That is a good thing. Thank you, John. Is this Sipple? No. Okay. Oh, this is good. This will be good. Greg in Myrtle Beach is back. Greg in Myrtle Beach. He called a couple weeks ago, or did he call before the Colorado game or the UTEP game? And he said all those great things about Dylon.
It must have been UTEP because I don't remember that call taking place. So I would have had to have not been here.
Okay.
And I was not here before the UTEP game.
Greg, welcome. How are you?
Good to be with you, Hap.
What's going on?
Yeah, Josh was getting hammered by that Milledgeville, Georgia heat, my man.
He
117 in the shade.
They were dropping like flies.
Yeah, I guess we were wrong about about Raiola. I think we said everything you've heard is wrong because he's better than that. Yeah, and by the way, we're not biased Panthers fans. We just try to tell you the truth. So
thank you.
Hey,
thank you.
Was calling you, my friend, because you are going to like you some Hudson Greer.
Oh, Creighton takes. Good.
Yeah. I've seen this young man play many times. So if you want the breakdown, here it is, brother. Austin Lake Travis, good program, and I like him because he is a perfect fit for Mac's system. 2025 is the year of the small forward, and he is one of the top 10 small forwards in this class. He's probably, I think he's the number 3 player in Texas, and he is perfect for Mac's system. The kid's a hard worker. He's cerebral. He's got a really high hoops IQ. He's vastly improved his handle. In fact, he's one of the more improved players in the country from one summer to the next. He's improved his perimeter game, his handle. He's much, much more athletic than he looks. When you see the kid, you're not going to realize that he's a pogo stick. Athletically, he's much improved, but I like him a lot because he's a solid passer and a finisher with either hand. He's in a good high school program. He needs about 10 to 15 pounds of upper body, but I'm sure Mac can get him in the weight room and handle that. But one of the things I really enjoy about watching the guy is he's what I call a mixer, Hap. You can if you put him in high school where he's the man and carries the load and does the heavy lifting, he does that at Lake Travis. But when you put him in AAU summer format and you mix him in with excellent talent, he doesn't lose a step because it actually accentuates his ability because he can mix with other players. But the most improvement I've seen from him is as a freshman and a sophomore, he was primarily a transition sprinter, scorer type dude. But in the last year, he's become much more polished in the half court as far as sets and spacing. He just has a whole lot better understanding of how to get his and how to give it to others. And he's most of what he gets offensively comes from the triple threat position, which is fine most of the time, especially at Lake Travis. But when he plays against the top 10 small forward 3-man types in the country, like a Bryson Tiller, Shelton Henderson, Trey McKinney, or Jacob Wilkins, who's Dominique's kid, it's kind of harder for him to get that because they have the lateral quickness to cut him off on that first step.
Mm-hmm.
But Mac will be able to scheme around that. And so I really think this guy's got a bright future for you.
Excellent.
I think you'll be really pleased with Hudson Greer.
Greg, everything else good down in Myrtle Beach?
Oh yeah, well, yeah, except for the Bender cat, the Coastal Carolina. kid
Yeah,
giving
what's
away
up
their
with that
signal.
guy?
Well, half is easy to understand. He got a $300,000 signing bonus, but he's from Myrtle Beach, so like everybody else in the world, he wants to get home.
Touche, my friend. Thanks for calling.
Have a great day.
Craig in Myrtle Beach. That's a great use that for the tourism slogan. Put that guy who was giving the other team signals on a billboard and say, he just wanted to come home.
You'll quit your professional baseball career to be here.
That's exactly right. Star Wars Fiend writes in.
Hi, Star Wars Fiend.
Why does it Greg and Myrtle Beach fly up and you and Bishop can have a Creighton roundtable at Oscars? Greg in Myrtle Beach is not specifically a Creighton guy. He's just giving us the skinny about what he knows. The lowdown. We appreciate Greg because we have eyes everywhere. We got eyes everywhere. We got eyes here.
Yeah.
We got eyes in Lincoln.
You can't watch everything.
We're going to have eyes at the Blur tomorrow. We got eyes in Myrtle Beach. Got eyes in Florida. We got eyes. That's all.
How do you think it would go if Tuesday, November 5th, that sounds like election day. Maybe we do it on a different day. Okay, Monday, November 4th.
Yes.
Oscars roundtable ahead of Creighton's match with UTRGV that Wednesday.
Is hilarious because that is the day that I'm gone.
Oh.
We just had this discussion this morning.
That's right.
I am gone that day.
Oh, man.
I will be in Lincoln for women's basketball that day.
Maybe we do it Wednesday, November 6th.
After the UTRGTV game?
The afternoon before.
Okay. Okay, that seems hard. You know, John's got to be at the arena.
That's a quick turnaround.
Yeah. I don't know.
Maybe we do it at Let It Fly.
Maybe we just do it from half court.
Oh,
John will be at the arena. I'll be shooting hoops, getting ready. Honk.
Just the idea of just it is the idle week.
Okay, Creighton roundtable. Lock it in from half court at the Chai. Blueski writes in.
Hi, Blueski.
Living in Phoenix, an 11 a.m. kickoff in Lincoln is 9 a.m. here. Too early. Have to get to Clancy's by 8 a.m. to get a seat. That's not what you want. You don't want to have to go to Clancy's at 8 a.m.
No.
So, yeah, Blueski is probably a fan of the 2:30 kicks around here. Probably a little better for
I would think so.
All right, we're back after this. Picks for the weekend. Josh is wrecking me already. Coming back on 1620 The Zone. Okay, we're finally getting a replay of this, I think. Josh. Well, maybe not. We're getting a replay of the end of the point. Creighton's going to sweep Northern Iowa here. So Husker fans, Jays fans, rejoice. Be together.
Bad weekend to be a Panther.
Bad weekend to be a Panther. But at least Getzinger for the Blue Jays, Northern Iowa was going for the kill, and it ended up right in Elise's face. And it actually popped up and landed in play on the other side, only for a long rally to ensue after that. So way to use your head. Jays are going to sweep Northern Iowa, like I said, and they'll get Louisville in a big one coming up this weekend. All right, our picks. Josh, 2 weeks in, and I already trail by 4 games to you. Now,
you sound surprised.
I am surprised.
Okay.
Because I think that this is a joke. This game is unfair, is what I say.
Okay, you created the game.
Well, Josh, would you take a look at this? Last week, you laughed. You were like Shiloh Sanders. You Shiloh Sanders to me last week when I said, I think Arkansas will beat Oklahoma State.
Mm-hmm. I did. I did that.
You, Shiloh, said, we're about to roll you. That was you. And then I told you why. And well, I just named a couple Arkansas players. I told you why, though.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, Arkansas will not only cover the 7.5 points, but they will win the game. Then, a matter of hours later, leading into the 11 a.m. start time on Saturday, the line ballooned for Oklahoma State to 9.5 and as much as 10.5 in some places.
Whoa.
People were just pounding Oklahoma State, and I was going the other way.
Much like the Bills-Dolphins last night.
If we would have caught it at a later time, what I'm about to talk about would not have been an issue. But here we are. A 7.5 point favorite by Oklahoma State. And the game goes to overtime. Only for both teams to miss their field goal attempts in overtime. And then for Oklahoma State to score, convert a 2-point conversion, and get a defensive stop to win, and cover the 7.5 points required, leading to Josh being right by sheer luck and myself being wrong. That is this week's edition of Bad Beats.
We don't apologize for wins.
I wasn't expecting an apology.
Just like
I just an acknowledgement. Just an acknowledgement that this is garbage.
I would like an acknowledgement for telling America to buy the Texas lineup to
acknowledged. Acknowledged. I was wrong about that
12.5.
Yeah, you said just buy it up as much as you can.
Uh-huh.
You were right. You're right about that one. I was wrong. I thought Michigan would hang. They did not. We both lost on Iowa. I won on Tennessee. Not sure what you did there. Why you took NC State. You were like, I think I like NC State. You said this is the classic Tennessee is doing too much game.
Yep.
I don't know why that's my Josh impersonation, but it is. And we both picked KU to beat Illinois. We were both wrong. We both picked Nebraska to cover against Colorado. We were both correct. On to week number 3. Josh, we begin this evening. These lines were locked in this morning, so if there's been any movement, it does not count. We locked them in this morning. Sadly for us, in the case of Arkansas versus Oklahoma State last week, number 20, Arizona, is at number 14, Kansas State. 7 o'clock tonight on Fox. Josh, you're the leader with a grand total for the year of 7-5. Who do you like tonight?
Give me the Wildcats, home team.
Well, Josh, they're both Wildcats. Wildcat, he can see you.
They sure are. You didn't fall for that, huh?
No.
Okay, give me the home Wildcats, the Kansas State.
Okay, so I had to make sure you knew who was at home, too. Okay, the purple Wildcats.
Yes.
Go Power Cat. I agree with you.
Okay.
I agree with you. I will also be taking Kansas State minus the 7.5.
Glad we agree.
Avery Johnson coming out party, maybe? Or maybe he's out.
The basketball player?
No, different one.
Oh.
He's much He's wider than Avery Johnson.
Okay.
That Avery Johnson.
Younger?
Longer hair, taller.
Okay.
Also.
They're good for a football player.
Yes. Avery Johnson's Kansas State Wildcats -7.5 tonight on Fox. Number 4, Alabama is a 16.5-point favorite at Camp Randall. 11 o'clock, big noon Fox tomorrow morning. Well, Josh, I know what you're going to do here. So is this?
You?
Yes. Yes. I believe so. I'm almost positive of it.
All right.
You're going to say, folks, take that 16.5 and buy it up. Wisconsin is a stinky poo-poo garbage can. Something like that.
I would like to put my hard copy on camera here.
What does it say?
Texas, Michigan Light tomorrow at Camp Randall.
Yeah, I told you.
Now, I don't know about buying.
I know my guy.
I don't know about buying it up, but
I know my guy.
Boy, a lot of Badger fans are going to be asking themselves a lot of questions tomorrow.
I'm going to agree with you. This is not an Alabama related thing.
It's not.
It's not an Alabama related thing. This is a Wisconsin related thing. I think Wisconsin's going to have a very, very tough time, especially offensively tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Quite possibly 1 touchdown or less for the Badgers. Give me Alabama to cover the 16.5 on the road. It goes against some rules, but I'm going to take the Tide here. And you are as well, Josh. Yes?
Yes, of course.
Game number 3. LSU is a 6.5-point favorite at South Carolina. Lots of jokes will be made on signs. College game day. This is 11 a.m. on SEC on ABC. Josh, you go first.
I'm going to do the thing that always screws me, but it's just so damn sexy. I'm going to bet on the LSU Tigers. I will.
Thank you for doing that.
I will pick them -6.5.
Thank you for doing that.
Uh-huh.
Because it allows me to take a very, very easy win. South Carolina will not only cover the spread, they will win this football game.
Whoa.
Yes. South Carolina's been good. LSU has, some questions. They're fine. But they're going off of their name. Right? Give me South Carolina.
They got that little 16 by their name.
Give me South Carolina to win the football game, but at the very least, lose by 6 or less. That is tomorrow, 11 a.m. on ABC. Number 9, Oregon is a 16.5-point favorite at Oregon State. Civil War, don't call it the Civil War. 2:30 on Fox. Oregon struggling a little bit, off to a tough start. Oregon State, don't know anything about them. I know they lost their coach last year.
Mm-hmm.
Not sure what else is going on out there.
They might have some grievances. They might want to take out some aggression.
They might. And they are well coached. Much of Jonathan Smith's coaching staff is still there. And I really, really, really don't want to do this, but I'm going to stay on Oregon. I'm going to stay on the double-digit, multiple touchdown road favorite. I'm not a fan of it, but I'm doing it. Give me Oregon to cover the 16.5.
I believe the emotion carries the Beavers to a cover, but not an outright win.
What about the emotion for the Ducks? Don't they have some emotion?
They should.
Dan Lanning loves to yell.
He should be yelling at those guys because they can't block worth a poop.
There was another game we could have put in this final spot here. Now, we always say that we're going to pick the best games of the week. And you might say, Connor, you're lying to us because there is only one other ranked on ranked game this week, and it's not on here. What about Boston College in Missouri?
What about Boston College?
Thank you, Josh. What about Boston College in Missouri? It was on here at one point, and I took it off. Then there was a second game that was on here at one point, and I took it off. I thought this could be an interesting spot for Purdue against Notre Dame, coming off the loss to Northern Illinois. Is Notre Dame about to crumble? Are they about to roll over? Is Purdue going to have a nice statement win to start the season going in the Nebraska game in a couple weeks? And I sat on that for a while. But then I came up with another game, Josh. But this one's about another guy. Colorado is a 7.5-point favorite at Colorado State. Tomorrow, 6:30 CBS. That's the game we're picking. Blood feud.
Colorado State has again been talking some trash.
Yes.
This week.
They are enjoyers of talking.
Same story, different verse. Colorado State covers, doesn't win.
Colorado State wins. Colorado State.
I was too scared.
Don't be scared, Josh. Untether yourself. Whoa, next gen's having problems over there. All right, we're good. Colorado State wins the football game. And why do they win the football game? With an assist from the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Nebraska is maybe now at this point as a program where you're playing teams, and then a week later, they are struggling out of the gate, all because they were physically manhandled by their previous Big Ten competition. Colorado is a tiny baby team. We've talked about this plenty of times. There's a Twitter account that is dedicated to this, Tiny Baby Buffs. They had one of their players break their arms. They had one of their players leave the game early.
Soft.
One of those guys is going to play this week. The other one will not. I think that Colorado State lands a nice big opening swing, wins the football game in a raucous environment in weed smoke-filled Fort Collins, Colorado.
Dirty hippies.
All dirty hippies all around for everybody.
The hippie bowl.
And we finish. Northern Iowa is at number 23, Nebraska. First time in the history of the show I've ever said that, Josh. Number something Nebraska.
Oh, wow.
Number 23, Nebraska.
What an honor.
Who's a 32.5-point favorite. 6:30 p.m. on BTN. Josh, I've had my working score all week, and usually I toy with it. I play with it. I move it around up and down depending on what I hear, what I see, what I like.
The line moves.
It changes. I have settled on this number since Tuesday. Nebraska 48, Northern Iowa 0.
Predicting
0.
A shutout.
Nothing! You get nothing. No soup for you.
What a bold move.
48-0. That's a bold prediction, Jimmy. What do you got? Oh, you're showing the camera something, but I can't see it.
Nebraska 45, UNI 6.
Now it's in focus. 6? Now, do the 6 come off 2 field goals, or they come off 1 touchdown and miss extra point?
2 field goals.
Or do they come off I guess the only way to get to 6 is
3 safeties.
I guess you could do 3 safeties. That would be, we'd have something to talk about on Monday if they got if Nebraska got safetied 3 times, we'd be having a different conversation on Monday.
A field goal, a safety, and a returned 2-point conversion.
Okay. Now we're cooking. So you're going with 2 field goals, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. 48-0. Nebraska covers, they win, and we all enjoy our NFL Sunday, and unless you're a fan of a team that's going to lose. That's the story of the weekend. Enjoy the day on Saturday. It's a bad slate.
Yes.
But it is football. I know Josh Peterson's listening and would get offended because he's a pervert, but it's a great Saturday. It's a great day to be alive. It's a great day to watch college football, but the slate sucks. So, flip around a little bit. Watch some teams you're not used to watching.
Yeah. It's
Go
okay.
to the pumpkin patch.
It's okay. They open this weekend. It's okay to say that the slate sucks.
Yeah, it's
it
bad.
doesn't mean you hate football. It doesn't mean that you don't like the sport.
That's right.
It means the sport doesn't love you back.
That's right. Those are our picks for the weekend. I need to get some over on Josh here. We'll take a break. Come back, get you the polls, tell you what to watch next on 1620 The Zone. Can't wait to see what unsportsmanlike conduct is like today.
Promises to be something.
Like I said, I'm looking forward to it.
There will be a show.
I'm looking forward to it. A poll question just went final from yesterday. So we asked this question just a few more minutes more than 24 hours ago. Would Jesus attend Purdue University? 93% of responders ended up saying no. And that is final. And so now it's the law.
Biblical scholars for generations will now know.
Poll questions from today. Has Connor Happer been there many times? What was that in reference to even?
I think it was Who Hot or a Chinese buffet.
It was Who Hot. It was Who Hot. Has Connor Happer been there many times? Yes. 67% said yes. Is Northern Iowa versus Nebraska deep cable?
Yeah, I think
you make a good point. Yeah. 75% say yes. It doesn't come with your base package.
You got to want that. You got to,
unless you live here in Nebraska, of course. Do you want to be the beans guy?
Never.
The question that took over our show. Do you want to be the beans guy? I'll say no. Do you have a prediction on how this will end up, Josh? Or are you staring at it?
I'm staring at it, so I have to recuse myself.
So you have to ask me. I will say that yes is actually going to win the day on this one. Like by slight. It's going to be close. Like 51-49. I'll vote no. Wow. I was wrong. Thank God. Thank you, society. 73% said no.
You really came through for us, society.
Is the apple the most vegetable-y fruit?
No.
It is not, now that I think about it.
Not even the second most.
89% said no.
Sure. Most voted on poll question of the day, by the way.
Did that ump smell a rat?
He had to.
Yeah. 93% said yes. And those are the polls. Josh, what are we watching tonight?
We are watching the NFL on our televisions this weekend here locally. Now, these are for Omaha. I know it's a little different in Lincoln this weekend.
Whatever.
Niners, Vikings, noon Sunday on CBS. Your noon game on Big Fox. Colts, Packers. The Malik Willis era begins.
Definitely an era.
At Lambeau. Bengals, Chiefs, 3 o'clock on CBS, and of course, 1290. Bears, Texans, your Sunday night game on NBC. You can hear it right here on 1620 The Zone. College football tonight.
Football.
The entire state of Kansas plays football tonight. We told you in the last segment, Arizona K-State hook up tonight on Big Fox. UNLV takes on Kansas. I believe this is a first ever matchup between these two teams. 6 o'clock tonight on ESPN. College Game Day is in Columbia, South Carolina for LSU, South Carolina. Guest picker will be Dawn Staley. Fox is in Madison for Bama, Wisconsin. Oregon State, 2:30 tomorrow on Big Fox and right here on 1620 The Zone. And after the game, make sure and tune into Big Red Overreaction.
Josh, did you see that UNLV Kansas is the first matchup?
I thought I read that this week. First time those two have played.
No chance. They played each other in the bowl game last year, didn't they?
In the regular season. Bowl games don't count. We established that yesterday.
Oh, okay.
I believe
also not true.
Oh, okay. I must have saw something else from Winsipedia that two teams were moving for the first
Kansas versus UNLV?
Yeah.
Those two teams play each other this week in football?
That's correct.
Okay. Yeah, no. They played each other in 2002, 2003, and in the bowl game last year.
I apologize.
Kansas 2-1 in all time.
Read the internet wrong. John Bishop, Jimmy Allen, Big Red Overreaction after the Nebraska game tomorrow. Baseball this weekend, Yanks and Sox hooking up in the Bronx, 6 o'clock tonight on Apple. Dodgers, Braves also tonight on Apple, and they are the Sunday night baseball game.
Baseball.
It's crunch time for the Atlanta Braves. Now would be the time to
Josh,
do quite literally
you already
anything.
said this long. I thought you were over this. Like I thought you made peace with the Braves a long time ago. They stink.
I made peace with them not winning a championship a long time ago.
Oh, you still want them to make the playoffs?
I think I would like that.
Okay.
And then Reds and Twins, your noon Sunday game on Roku. A lot of volleyball this weekend. Nebraska hosting the Nebraska Classic. Arizona State takes on Nebraska tonight, 7 o'clock on BTN. Tomorrow, 2 o'clock on Big Plus. Nebraska takes on Wichita State. Then Creighton at the Cardinal Classic in Louisville. They have already defeated Northern Iowa. They play Rice tomorrow at 10 a.m. on ESPN Plus, and then take on number 4 Louisville noon Sunday on ESPN. WWE SmackDown makes its move to USA Network tonight. A 3-hour show with special surprise guests teased.
Oh, great!
We'll see who shows up for that. Max has Civil War. It was one of the bigger disappointments of the year. And Sunday, Connor, the 76th annual Emmy Awards.
Oh,
Sunday night, 7 o'clock on ABC. Eugene Levy and his son Dan host the yearly celebration of all things television. How many awards will The Bear and Shogun win? Spoiler alert, all of them.
So is this this year in television?
Season 2 of The Bear is what is being honored.
Okay, honor the hell out of that. That's
Yeah.
fine.
Mhm.
Season 3, leave it alone. Jeez, it's so late.
Very late.
Happened so long ago.
Yeah.
Quick email from John before we get out of here.
Hi, John.
It's Northern Iowa week, and we still couldn't get to Caitlin Clark or the top polls. I guess we'll just have to wait until next July now. There's a bye week, John.
Yeah.
There's a bye week. Also, old man Doug writes in, could Connor Happer be a good long snapper? Future poll question.
That feels like one of those things you say that you could definitely do.
I can't. I've tried.
Oh, okay.
It's hard.
It is.
You got to really rip that thing.
Yeah.
All right, that's it for us. Once again, big red overreaction after the game tomorrow with John and Jimmy. Should be very nice, calm, relaxing Saturday.
Don't call and analyze the snap.
No, they're going to. So nothing you could do about that one. Crossover with people or person is next on 1620 The Zone.